Hello, gamers and gamettes. Time McCready. Joining me is Whippet, and welcome back to another Playday of the Badass University All-Stars. Me and Whippet, we had a little adventure into NA, but now we're back where we belong. Here to have some fun, watch some great games, and deliver them to your door.
I cannot wait to get in this one. As you said, we had our foray into North America last night, but we're ready. We've got our nondescript energy drinks to keep us high energy through the rest of this, as we have a very exciting double-header Playday for you. In our opening game, it's going to be Sniper Monkeys versus Chimp Hunters. I'm very excited to see this one. Can Sniper Monkeys kind of wake up and turn the tide? They've not been putting on the performances that perhaps everyone expects of them due to the talent on that roster. And will Chimp Hunters kind of be able to make a surge into towards that top 4 position if they can find some success here.
Yeah, this realistically on Playday 8, we're really approaching crunch time for a lot of these teams. For Sniper Monkeys, this is the moment to really show that you've got anything in the tank at all. You've been struggling so far, you barely picked up rounds in most of your games. Now's the time to really get it together, really start to ramp it up, and try and give yourself a decent showing that we expect. Whereas Chimp Hunters, like you said, it's for them. This is the opportunity to push into that top 4 spot. If they win it out, they should be able to get inside there, and only really Randy Ravens can push them out by the end of this week. So a lot going on for a lot of the teams today, and speaking of those teams, let me talk you through these rosters. First of all, I'm very, very excited. The Sniper Monkeys, every time I see them, I look at them and I simply say there's no way that there shouldn't be good results coming out from them, because you're looking at players like Sturksy and you're looking like players like Quick Jab, and I'm saying, right, okay, where is things going wrong? These are good players.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to piece together the kind of accurate results. They've just not been able to kind of find those final few puzzle pieces to slot together to get those results. But where we'll be able to look at those rosters now, so I believe they'll be kind of showing up your screen in a second. Okay, look at, so this is Playday 10, Sniper Monkeys versus Chimp Hunters, and well, Creedy, you know the tradition. I'm bad at names. How about you guide us through this?
Yeah, now Sniper Monkeys, that talent I talked about, you look at the players like the Hyde, players like Nom the Nom, Sturksy, Quick Jab, Titchy, that's a roster that should be a death stack. But currently they've really struggled to get anything on the board. They just don't seem to have that much steam behind them. They've struggled to pick up rounds, and currently I'm just going to check the standings, and it's going to be as uncomfortable, I think, as I expected. They've won 1 game and lost 3, and if you know the names on the board, that is a shock. On the flip side, though, Chimp Hunters, a very huge amount of talent on their lineup as well. Sandaunos, in particular, a real standout player for me, alongside Atlantic and Angelo. Now, Angelo, coming from that NGG roster, as the same as Sturksy, so we got a nice little revenge grudge match. I don't know how you want to say it, we got that going on. Whereas Sandaunos, Atlantic, Angelo, and Bullet, they've had a good season so far. They're only 1 place above Sniper Monkeys, but the 2 primates, they have a real opportunity to put the rounds on the board. Chimp Hunters, with this round differential, instead of having that -10 like Sniper Monkeys have, they're only on a +4. So they have a real opportunity to push themselves up with a win today.
Yeah, they really do. Being able to push forward and get towards that top 4. As we were saying, we're getting to that last round of the season. Now it's crunch time for these teams to be able to put results together and kind of launch their attack on that top 4. So can they be able to find that success? And we're really talking about perhaps the lack of results that Sniper Monkeys have put up so far. This is time for this roster to wake up, perhaps, you know? They are pinned against the wall right now. They've got nowhere to go. You're at the lower end of the table. You've got to make a surge now if you want to kind of assert that you're still the top dog team. You're still able to put results on the board. And that needs to start changing right here, right now, on this Playday against Chimp Hunters. Otherwise, they're going to be left kind of stranded in deep water and just left to drown, because they're so far back at this point. The rallying has to begin now.
Yeah, there's very much no other way that they can really survive if they lose this game. So this is the moment for them to get back in the fight. At least if you're going to lose the game, at least make it a good loss. Maybe clear up some of this round differential if you can. But well, we're going to have to wait to get into that position at ourselves. And while we do, I want to talk about the actual Playday that we got up, because not only do we have this game with Sniper Monkeys and Chimp Hunters, but after that, we're going to be having Randy Ravens and the Froggers. So we're going to be looking towards a rather similar story as well. We're looking at the Froggers and the Randy Ravens. They're the 5th and 6th respectively. But there's a lot less. They both have the same amount of wins on the board. It's just the round differential. 2 rounds separates their position right now. And they're currently sat on 4 points together. So that position, whoever wins that game, they push themselves up, they push themselves for more points, and get into that top 4 spot. The top 4 teams, well, they're going to qualify for playoffs at the end of the group stage.
Yeah, certainly. So, I mean, this is a really interesting time for all of these teams because the competition is so close. There's very few rounds or very few points separating everybody, and we're still in that state of flux where if we have another upset week like we had, I believe, 2 weeks ago, where we saw everyone in the top flight fail to score significant points, if that happens again, the midfield or mid-runners can really push forward, and there could be a massive shift, a massive shuffle of who's going to be in those top 4 positions as we move towards and closer towards those playoffs.
Yeah, but
yes, Creed?
Yeah, we're looking at where these teams, they're looking to cement themselves in the positions they want for playoffs. But it's only going to come through hard work and close games. Both of these games right now, on paper, are set to be relatively close. You look at Sniper Monkeys, they're looking like the very much the underdogs at the moment. But, well, you never count them out because, well, every time we've tried, we've just been proven wrong, haven't we?
Well, every time I seemingly count a team out or make an early prediction, I'm proven wrong. Whether it's for strategies in a round or overall results, teams always do their best to prove me wrong. Perhaps it's a reverse caster curse. I don't lay it on the players, they give me that curse to try to trip me up and sort of side of it. But again, this is tough to call. These are two sides that haven't quite put on the ideal results. They want to be able to find more success, and they haven't quite been able to find a rhythm, meld together as a unit. They're just struggling to get those results right now. And I think because of that standing, both in similar positions in the season, it's going to lead to a very close matchup today. And I don't want to even dare or hazard to guess or hazard to call this one because it's going to be very narrow margins to define this.
I will. I'm going to be very optimistic with this first game, and I'm going to say I think we see a close game, maybe a 7-5, maybe even overtime if there's a lot there behind Sniper Monkeys. But I think Chimp Hunters, they're going to get it, they're going to push through and get that game win. Then on the second game, I'm a lot more balanced on that one, but I think it's coming down to personal preference, so I think Randy Ravens might take that. But map bans, I'm quite interested to see if we have them ready, most importantly, and then see where exactly we're going to be going, because this is going to be very important. We've seen Sniper Monkeys struggle on almost every map they've played so far. The auto bans are going to take away that Oregon and coastline, and shocking nobody, we've seen that Oregon being taken away yet again in that auto ban phase. Consulate and CAF will be removed, and then suddenly you're looking at, okay, well, it's probably going to be Club, Villa, or Chalet.
Oh.
That's not going to be the case. We're going to be heading to Clubhouse, aren't we, Whippet? I had to have a nice little think then, didn't I?
Yeah, well, you were so close to getting your very second Chalet cast. And
my first one with you.
What
are you doing, Chimp Hunters? Come on.
Shaking my head. But, technically speaking, because we were, our little adventure to North America, we got a double header of Clubhouse there. So now we've got 3 Clubhouse casts technically in the same day. I think we're cursed now to find this, but of course it's a great map. It's a good litmus test to see how these teams shape up to each other because of its age, its development. It's very well understood from everyone who plays this game at a fundamental level. So seeing teams go head to head on this map is always intriguing. It kind of acts as that similar rule as Oregon, where everyone knows how to play it. It should be one of those maps that you have the deepest page on the strat book about because there's so many options. You can play it deep. There's so many kind of things you need to know. It's there's historical strategies that can get pulled out to try and throw teams off, like the SSG 2-on-2 hold, or you can have the bleeding edge stuff, like with some of the stuff we saw in that North America game, where those mirror setups down in lounge to kind of create garage as a kill box. So lots of
fun.
It really was. I wonder if we get to see some kind of inventive strategies on Clubhouse, and it's a map that always lends itself towards that creative team. Because when the meta shifts, when everything changes, when new operators come into that climate, it's one of the maps that you'll see very significant changes on.
And if there isn't very significant changes, well, suddenly you say, okay, well, this season might not have that much of an impact. I think the 20-second meta changing, it's demonstrated in the way that Clubhouse adjusted slightly as a map, but didn't completely die out, like we've seen other maps where CAF, you certainly struggle on there a lot more as a defender, but it's still quite defender-sided. And I think as well, Coastline, it became a lot more attacker-sided. But talking about Clubhouse, because we have the time, let's do a bit of theory crafting. So yesterday, like you talked about, you touched upon this mirroring castle strat down in lounge. I want to talk more about that because that's something I looked at and I loved it. It was interesting, it was new, it was spicy, it's something I haven't seen in quite a while. That's why I was really excited to see it. Basically, what we saw was a team, they kept that mirror on the board, and they brought the castle. They set up down below, they had the castle blocking off the double door, the main door entrance, and I believe it was the secret door over towards that storage area. Now, in that position, they reinforced one of the walls on the lounge wall, and they put a mirror window. They opened up the garage walls, which typically are reinforced, and basically said, okay, you need to come to us. Now, take into account the bans, it was a Thatcher and an Ace, I do believe, taken away. And in doing so, then they forced the Maverick to go to that breach. But then they killed the breach very early on. And in doing so, well, suddenly the vertical play has to come through. That's when the Maverick, that's when the Maverick gets taken away and the mirror really comes into play. The castle barricades, they force a lot of utility drainage. And then the mirror knows exactly what's coming. They know where to look. They know how to adjust. And if we can see a team play around this mirror setup like we saw yesterday, which was basically saying, okay, they're going for a construction side, and they're trying to take control of stage and push it to stock that way. Okay, I'm going to pop the window and I'm going to sit on the other side. They're not over by the garage area, so I can get a good few couple of kills. I want to see stuff like this coming out from the teams. Now, granted, these teams, when you think about it, they've only been together 4 or 5 weeks, so maybe I'm asking quite a bit, but it's still something I want to see.
I think that's an interesting point because these teams haven't been together for a very long time. Seeing some bleeding edge or more intricate strategies can be somewhat of a hard or somewhat of an ask to see. But we mentioned the amount of benefits that you can bring with a mirror on this map and the amount of kind of positions it can play up and the extra viability with the extra added information and great extensions that you can play on. And also, it can just catch people napping. When you might join it out. Go, okay, there's a mirror down in the lounge. We might be careful walking up the rafter stairs. But we saw examples of people missing the fact that the entirety of those garage walls opened up and they got caught exposed. They got caught when they dropped off subroof by CC window. They just weren't prepared for it. And that's one of the things of bringing an operator. It's very commonly taken out of that ban phase early. Bringing them in play can be so beneficial for sides. I'm intrigued though, because of these teams are going to play a bit more of a default style of play. That's just kind of my overall kind of prediction with them not being together for the longest period of time, not having a full commitment to be able to develop some key, deep strategies. Mirror might be a common ban, and I think that might be a case. We might have to play around that getting banned away. One thing that I've seen, on our 2 games we got to catch yesterday, though, was that a Kaid managed to slip through the ban phase twice. It's not common to see the Moroccan operator not have those or be in the fray and have those electric claws available, and if that's something that we might see here, who knows? Again, theory crafting is all we got to do, but those electric claws can make the job very tricky, and if that Maverick ban's brought out early and the Kaid isn't forced out, we might be in for a very intriguing defensive side of the clubhouse, which is sometimes a bit of a rare sight in this current climate.
Yeah, it really is. Having that Cade on the board, it suddenly says you need to force that Maverick pick, and then you're relying a lot on actually having the Maverick. And then as soon as that Maverick dies, well, you either have the breach open or you don't. If you don't, then you have 2 very, very important choices. First of all, how are you going to move on from here? Are you going to commit to that breach, and are you going to try and push down below to get these K-claws? And second of all, are the defenders ready for that? Are they expecting it? As soon as they kill the Maverick, they realize getting that main breach, which is a key part of a lot of attacks, that needs to happen. So do they adjust their defense over towards that? There's a lot that can be done. And then I also want to think about the bottom floor. With the Cade slipping through, it makes those hatches a lot harder. Yet again, a Maverick getting through the ban phase with a Cade, it's quite interesting because it's something you don't always see. When a Maverick goes, the Cade usually follows, which is quite interesting. Something I do want to wind back a little bit about what you said was when you see operators that get banned a lot actually slip through the phase, teams don't really know how to react. I think that's something that speaks a lot to me, especially on the maps where the hard breach is very, very important. Think about your coastline, think about your consulate and your garage wall. Think about your CCTV breach and maybe your attic or your master bedroom on Oregon. Think about it now of you push in, a lot of that early round depends on getting that wall open, and it depends on being able to push through and use the time effectively to get there. And you compound the rest of your strat around this, and the timings they're working to deal with the fact that that breach isn't going to get open quickly. Well, Thatcher, it speeds everything up. It's no longer the main part of an attacking lineup because of the ban phase coming through. Teams have learned to live without it. It comes in, it speeds everything up. Suddenly you might see a team with the breach open, sat outside, kind of wondering, what do we do now? How do we support our team? Do we push in? Do we go in and risk it all, try and take control of site while everyone else isn't ready? No. Chances are you're going to see somebody stall out, so that's quite interesting to me. Chances are we are going to see that Thatcher band, and probably see the Maverick and Cade and maybe a Wamai or even a Mirror being taken away as well, just going off the default bans. But there's opportunities to theory craft, and while we do wait to get into the game, why not?
Yeah, one of the things that when you look at kind of this, we can spend probably ages to us talking about how a single operator ban or them slipping through that ban phase can make a massive influence. It's one of those things that makes Clubhouse one of the most interesting maps to watch across the entirety of Siege competitive play, whether you're watching at the highest level of T1 or watching everything else between, from Challenger League to Nationals. It's a map that you'll always see a different flair, a different flavor to, and a different approach, whether it's from bans or core strategies. And it's what makes it something that's always reasonably exciting. because it's shifted in recent time. It's went from a very defender-sided map to more sliding towards the attacking side, because as every map in the Siege lifespan, as it gets a little bit older, the attacking side break it down. Those core sites that were so strong and almost impervious to attacks when the map was new or more fresh begin to slip away. Strategies begin to get stale, because if you think about it, remember during the reign of SSG's terror on Clubhouse, they would run their own strategy. Barely any teams had a significant answer to it, and now you see someone bring it out, and well, everyone's got something figured out. But our theory crafting will be no more, because we're just getting confirmation that we're ready to jump into the game any second, and here we go. Our map number 1, it's Clubhouse Sniper Monkeys versus the Chimp Hunters. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, this is what I'm really excited for, mainly because this is the opportunity for Sniper Monkeys to really put something on the board. And like I said, it's a team that I have wanted so badly to excel and really show what they're made of. Hasn't happened just yet, taking the defense, so this is the opportunity for it. The first ban taking off the board is going to be that Habana, and well, immediately with it, I'm thinking about the bottom floor. I'm thinking about the kitchen. You're forcing an ace or a thermite or a maverick to get down and get dirty and get that hatch open. Suddenly, impact tricks, C4s. If a Valkyrie slips through, well, that can end everything. I've seen it. You've seen it. Let's ignore it. We're going to look at this maverick ban instead and notice one operator who has slipped through the attacking.
That Thatcher's made it through in a double hard breach ban. Somewhat of a rarity these days. It's not very common. You see teams being comfortable to get that double hard breach, but with operators like Ace being around, it doesn't make too much of a difference. That Kaid's next to go, and again, the Electric Claws just add an extra level of complication, so getting the Moroccan operator out now is easier than dealing with that Claw inside the matchup itself, inside those rounds, so it makes a lot of sense. And our final defensive ban will be that mirror. We talk so much about the influence the Spaniard can have, but we won't get to see that at least in our very first matchup this evening, as they're going to get banned out again. It's an operator that getting rid of them now inside of this ban phase is much easier than doing it inside that round, because it adds a massive complication, another massive block of things to clear away, as it's going to be kind of that massive information. What's this?
Sturksy, he's been really polite. I'm having a great day. Thank you. You know, I'm casting Sturksy, I'm casting with Whippet, and I'm casting for Buell. It can't really get much better than that. CCTV cache, though, that's where we're going to be heading towards, and you're looking at the lineup, and there's going to be a Raft Assault. That Valkyrie is still there. There's a lot of sneaky little spots you can get it in construction. You can get it over towards that garage side. You can really do whatever you want with it, in my opinion. But Heizo coming in, I'm quite excited to see the impact that he's going to have coming into this. I believe he stepped back, but now he's filling in as a sub for the Smunkies, as it says on the board. Chunters, though, I've yet to decide if I like that name or not. A very typical lineup, but that Ying coming through, it has some implications that we can get into.
That Ying to me instantly rings something aggressive is going to happen. Whether it's trying to clear lounge early and push up the stairs and take bottom garage control, or something a bit more direct once that wall is open, tossing in those candelas and trying to have a massive aggressive influence. The pick of the bandit's an interesting one. Bandit tricking is something that is somewhat having a little bit of a resurgence, because I've seen it inside of T1, especially the great example is BDS, how they play around this position. You can impact trick this, or you could impact trick this wall, but some teams are now opted to bandit trick it. It's risky. You know, if a grenade comes soaring in over your head, you're very compromised in that position. But with a Maverick ban, you also set of grenades off the board. You don't have to worry about it, because that Maverick's so common on a map like Clubhouse. Many teams rely on that operator having those. Salma charge deployed on that main wall to try and get an open angle to watch that window. Sturksy's going to be inside of Adam. Santaros is going to drone in, get some extra information. Looks like Sturksy nearly found an early engagement, though, down with the player by main door, and some damage already done. That's going to be the opening kill. Atlantic falls to the MP7. A great start now for the defensive Sniper Monkeys. The Candela's burning outside. Perhaps they were thrown to try and get rid of ADSs, but an interesting choice nonetheless. And this bandit trick is going to grind this offensive push down to a halt, as he's just going to sit here, wait for that vertical commitment down below. It happens eventually, but the ass charge not positioned perfectly to completely push the bandit off. But that wall's going to get opened up nonetheless, and that's going to be the first major checklist achieved, as bandits now left in DBNO. Finished off as Sandaros gets that kill in the Sturksy. A trade-off there as Angelo's going to get one on the Tom as well. So Mo pushing in by bottom garage. Lots of control gathered, and the site's there for the taking. So will this plant go down?
Now Nondanom has a huge position in red stairs, doesn't spot the cross, shoots but misses. Now he's able to get it. The diffuser has gone down. It's in a 3 versus 2, though the refrag will come through from Mo. Has eyes onto the diffuser, has the opportunity to get it, as does Bullet outside on this breach, but somebody's got a crack. Halfway in the round, we're seeing the Smonkeys have a lot of time to play with. So does Chunters. But they've got to push in. They've got to go into these positions where they're going to expose themselves. This Maestro camera is still there. Mo will back up and look for the support. You need to play together at this point. You get a plant down, a player on either rafters or CC window, and a player outside breach. Now though, the impact trick, that's going to start going through. One will go off, another. It won't do the damage. Hyde's going to kill Hyzo and has to get aggressive on the swing. He's able to find Mo. He just needs to find Bullet at this point. But Bullet, he's gonna be hiding. He's outside on the breach. And right now, time to get down Chunters. They're looking to get their first round on the board. Bullet, he knows that this swing has got to come through, and the Hyde knows exactly what he's got to do as well. The audio cue will come through, but it's not enough. And Bullet will find that first round for Chunters. Able to find that breach getting opened up. Able to shut down the bandit trick with that vertical play, which Smonkeys wasn't ready for. And then it all came down to just playing together. And a horrible, horrible team kill from the Alder. It sings, but its note was just a little bit off, Whippet.
You gotta wonder if that round could have played out differently if that team kill didn't come out. He was able to find the kill on the player on rafters and was just so narrowly misses the shots on the balconies of Fia player. So close. Nom though, a great moment here. Doesn't quite spot the cross, but it's a bit of a scrappy fight. But gets that diffuser down to no man's land. Gave an opportunity. He could have played for that C4 down below, but ultimately Mo was very quick to respond, and that's going to be a very important asset to have on your side, especially on the attacking format. When you're pushing in, when you're trying to, clear these positions, if you lose someone, you need to trade them off instantaneously. And right now, Chimp has done a fantastic job of doing that. When they got it, when we saw that push happening in the bottom of Garage, we saw the kill feed light up, trades left, right, and center, and the offense need to do that to hold on to any advantage they can find in the round. Upstairs we go again, CC and Cash, second time of asking. It did come down to 1v1, so I can't fault them for trying again. I wonder though, because they're relying on these bandit tricks, will they play with a bit more of a commitment to holding the main lounge area? Sturksy was inside of Adam. He's playing in this area. He could have held on to it, but I believe he rotated off to try and fight in a different position. If he can sit there, hold on, and deny time, that Ash charge from below, well, that's going to lose its availability. And Maestro trying to relocate some of those side panels from that broken PC. Trying to not interfere with the line of sight his evil eye will get.
Yeah, I'm taking notes from my ranked games. I just want to let you know for where the odd few times I pick Maestro, to be honest. But we are looking at this round start off. A big thing that Smonkeys need to address is the fact that Chunters took control of Lounge very comfortably. And as soon as Cirksy got taken away, and we saw the entry into Garage and Lounge take place, there wasn't any attempt at shutting it down. No vertical play, no nothing. Sturksy, though, will be droned out and will take quite a bit of damage to start things off. Not enough to land the killing blow, but enough to really make him think twice about going in for the engagements. Now, when we take a look at this right now, Mo and Soundownos, they are looking to really shut down the movement. Sturksy, he's going to have to cross. He's going to have to take a gunfight. The flashbang and the kill comes through, and suddenly, that's your Jaeger taken away yet again as that opening kill.
A great pinch there, being able to find that Jaeger down below. He had nowhere to run, no extra space, and ultimately his life was forfeit. It would have been very impressive if he could at least take one to the grave with him, but he was caught between a rock and a hard place, and ultimately he falls early. Nondanom looks to get aggressive, tries to find some aggressive positioning, as, well, the bandit's going to stand right above the open breach hole. This is going to be a tricky position to fight with. Tries to duel with the R4C down below, those beams proving to be a nasty emissary, as he's going to be rotating over towards that rafters position. The bandit wires still persist. One of them's being cleared away now, so this is going to give an opportunity for the Thermite to get that breach open. No one's directly watching it, so if Bandit wants to get brave, the trick is there as Nondanom falls. Bandit gets one on the Mo, so it's going to be a 4 versus 3 in favor of the offensive side. While Mai still holding a great crossfire on rafters, so if he can get his shots lined up with his MP5K, the damage he can do will be immense. Bullet's not going to be able to get those exothermic charges down just quite yet. The first Selma charge deployed, but impact tricked away. Down below, the verticality getting opened up by Sandanos, and that's going to be the key. That skeleton key breaking through the floor, making the Maestro tiptoe around all these beams and limiting the number of positions available. But that doesn't last too much longer as Bandit gets aggressive down below and finds that kill, leveling the playing field to a 3 versus 3. 45 seconds remain on the Alder left. Can it get a chance to sing? Finds some damage and through the smoke gets it down. And TXE gets 2 for his efforts, confirming 1 down. He impacts himself. Oh no! But Bullet now in a 1 versus 2. What work can he do? 30 seconds remains, but that diffuser stranded. Isolated alone in no man's land. 25. He's checking his angles, being cautious, but he's going to walk into the wide and inviting jaws of that Alder. Trying to rotate now to that rotation on the red stairs, trying to mix it up. Flashbang's primed and ready, but that's only going to read into his position. He crosses in, doesn't spot the Maestro, and his life is forfeit. But no! You've got to win that, but it's a 1v1, but the C4 from below. Sketchy moments there for Sniper Monkeys, but they find a round on the board. Ooh.
Right, yeah, Sniper Monkeys, maybe not a sniper, more kind of monkey in that position. The Hyde unable to find that kill. Not really sure what happened. The left click just stopped. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to let you have that one. Let's take a look at that again. I'm pretty sure we found that on the replay. But first of all, this is what I really want to talk about. Chunter's able to get that positioning, the coordination to deal with Sturksy. A huge problem area if you don't deal with him. Now, this is a big option. You're seeing the Alder getting the down and TXC with the crossfire ready to deal with those 2 players. Absolutely huge coming out. Bullet's able to find the refrag. Heizo has control of the bottom floor, which meant Hyde was able to push forward and get that damage done through that choke point. Because the impact trick was so successful, you didn't worry about the vertical play. Hyde and Sniper Monkeys in general, I'm very pleased with how that played out. That was a very nice round, regardless of some of those key flaws we saw at the very end. Bottom floor, though. We're seeing a Vigil, we're seeing a Maestro, a Jaeger, and a Lucy. It's looking pretty stock standard.
I think that's a wise decision to go for a more standard type of hold. Again, it was a very sketchy round that they were able to win. It came down to a very narrow margin, and while eyes will probably rest on Maestro there, that was a pretty freebie on the Thermite. Unfortunate that left click incident occurred. So the default strategy is a wise choice because this is going to be a close game, and putting anything up to risk like a more bleeding edge strategy is going to be risky. Oh, Sturksy, there it is! A bullet hole spawn peek from the balcony. A great opening for his team, and unanswered as well. As Sandaros falls, that's your buck, and that's a massive amount of soft breach potential. Null and void early in this round. Realistically, all this Vigil could do now is go back to site. He has to just burn away this time and get some trade-offs. Narrowly keeping himself in this fight as Atlantic shots whiz past his head. But damage has already been done, and Sturksy looks for more. However, he might be able to reap chaos in the lines of the Chimp Hunters now. This is going to be a very interesting engagement in this round. The drop is there, but it's read by Atlantic, and the kill is now going to get confirmed. A great positioning from that ace to get the kill. There's a trade-off, but lots of damage done to that time remaining. So, could Sturkey's efforts been not in vain?
Now, big impact coming out was a minute off the clock. The buck is taken away. So look at this kitchen right now. Look at the operators that are there. The Ace and the Thermite, they were always going to struggle again this kitchen hatch open. The impact trick is going to make life too hard. But look at this, right? You have Ash and Sophia. You can use your soft reach on the floor, which is what Mo's going to do. But then those Banshees, those Evil Eyes, they're going to be virtually untouchable. You're going to have to commit to either using these breaching charges or the breaching rounds if you're Ash and Sophia. So then you got to think, as soon as you start using the pads, that's when the C4s are going to start flying through. The camera's still there. Dirt is going to get opened up. Yeah, that's great. That's huge. You have another entry out of sight, but Heizo's able to find a kill with that information. Your Ash is going to be taken away off the board. The yellow pings will come through for the attackers, but nothing will be found because of it just yet. Angelo trying to bait out something, just that little bit. Has an opportunity to actually get onto the Hyde, but the Hyde's just going to play a little bit of ring around the rosy and just walk away. A minute ticking down on the clock, and Atlantic starting to move down into dirt. This is the issue I talked about. The Banshee's still there. The Hyde is going, yeah, he's being droned out, but Heizo and the Hyde, they're going to know exactly where Chunters want to come from. Now, all 4 players alive on the board. They have 2 in Armory, 2 in Church, and still have control of blue. In doing so, they have a really strong position, and Chunter's a huge task ahead. 35 seconds tick down. Some of the utility will start to be taken away, and Heizo looks to get aggressive, as does Atlantic. Hyde will be taken off the board by Angelo, who able to find that kill. Nom the Nom's gonna be there second. Okay, now we're seeing some promise as Angelo gets a third. It's all down to Titchy at this point. He's gonna be stopping Bullet from getting the plant. That's all he has to do. 14 seconds, the timer in red. Titchy, you have to ring true and ring, but no. Atlantic's gonna shut things out, and Chunters will take that bottom floor. Very, very shaky at the start. Huge roam effort from the defense, but they just locked it down, and in no small part down to Angelo.
Angelo finding 3, finding the most influential kills for his team, completely splitting that defense in half. They capitalized perfectly, and that shot he landed down by the boxes from the main stairs, absolutely sublime. You'll love to see plays like that, and if they can build off that momentum, especially as an individual, he might become unstoppable as this continues to play out. And I think we got some nice replays. Sturksy's bullet holes. It was a sketchy engagement. The tracers land, but he's decided he's gonna fire back. Use some high-level mathematics to follow those tracers and line up the shot. But a great rotation getting read by Atlantic. I was able to shut down that vigil before any more damage could have been done. And look at this shot. Oh.
Just clicking pixels, a point-and-click adventure game.
May as well have been. That just brings a smile to your face to see such a clean shot. And of course, he's got the opening kill for their team, but able to close out with that final one as well. Downstairs we go yet again. Basement defense, second time of asking. Can they find a little bit better of a strategy? Xerxes, 6 picking away, or not, sorry, I should say, not re-upping his role on that vigil. He's now going to be on the Legion. Goo Mine's available to him. Bulletproof camera as well, so that extra bit of information, as well as what the Valkyrie can provide, and the Evil Eye. So they got lots of information, lots of potential information, perhaps is a better way of describing it. Can they make that or put that to good, effective use? I'm wondering, what's Dirks doing up here in kitchen? What's he thinking about? What's he plotting? The cogs are clearly turning. Perhaps he's just trying to stay upstairs, and I think this was a bit of a drone bait. Staying upstairs, perhaps baiting them into thinking there was a roam presence as they all bunker up on the objective, forcing them to do a top-down clear. That's going to burn away that timer and make that final execution a little bit trickier, a little bit more under pressure once we get to that phase of the round.
Yeah, now that pre-play C4 is quite interesting because it's looking to try and get the attackers as soon as they start moving through and start thinking about this kitchen area. As soon as they feel like they got control of that C4, it's just going to go blammo, and it's going to be able to find that kill ideally. Now the roam clear is coming out from Chunters. They are not going to avoid or risk losing a player like Sandanos in that early round yet again to Sturksy, so you can't really fault them for wanting to be safe. But just tight drone work, you realize you clear this quickly, you get down onto the second floor. Sturksy, over in this garage storage though, it's a position he's been fond of. He wants to be down here, and he wants to at least make them aware that they need to worry about him. There's 2 options, like I said. You either make them aware that they need to worry about you, and with those Lagoon mines going off, that's probably going to be it. But then there's also the one where you wait. You get aggressive at the worst possible moment for the attackers. For example, when Atlantic's trying to hold an angle onto this push, Angelo will take some damage, quite a bit actually, from that C4. And has to cross this vertical play, otherwise you're stuck on main stairs. Sturksy hasn't been dealt with. Sturksy has this stock control and can move around, but will actually pull back to the bottom floor. They've done a lot of damage to Angelo, and they want to just keep that there. One impact nade could take away the impact player from that last round. A minute, half the round is gone, and we're looking at a good position for both teams, with all 10 players in the lobby still alive.
This is a very interesting position to find yourself in. 5 versus 5, 10 players alive as we're getting close to the business end of this round. A minute about to be remaining. A Goo Mine rings off in the distance, so Sturkey, that could be the dinner bells for this Legion. Perhaps might get aggressive on that swing, and Mo's going to find some damage received. The R4C is going to be a still very potent tool at their disposal. Cross isn't going to get spotted out by Xerxes, however, as the Ash is now directly above that Legion, but these vertical positions are a nightmare to fight, and stuck by that Goo Mine is just going to slow down this push. The vertical angles by the main stairs still an area of caution. Atlantic deep inside of dirt. Is the information there? Do they know of Ace's position? As it just seems that this push is beginning to stall out. 35 seconds remains, and well, with everyone still standing, we're in for an absolute brawl. Main stairs is going to be the front line. Bullet holding deep towards Moto. The Ash queuing up, getting ready. Sandaros on blue, and everyone's in position, primed and ready. A C4 tossed up, and that's going to be your Ash off the board. The opening kill comes late as Sturksy falls. Atlantic gets that kill as Hyde's going to get one of his own. Hizzo's going to get a second. That Valkyrie swings, and a very rapid collapse there by the Sniper Monkeys. The trade-off yet another round and find some success in round number 4, tying us up 2 rounds apiece. And a lovely shot there onto that buck. Clean as you like.
Clean as a whistle, I think I'm going to describe that. Able to find Tichy in that second. Big swing coming out from the Valkyrie. Big swing coming out from Heizo. And honestly, I'm looking at that. I'm saying Smunkies, very, very nicely played. Let's just take a look and recap very early on. But the trade, the refrag game was constantly there. Xerxes taken away, the Hyde swing in that third tunnel. Heizo's already down that player of Bullet and goes to them again. Suddenly that swing on the Valkyrie comes through, and there's Tichy's beautiful shot there. You're looking at this and you're simply saying, Smunkies, they're playing tight, they're playing together. This is maybe what they've been missing. We've only seen 4 rounds, Whippet, but there is a lot of potential in these 4 rounds from both teams. They might look like Smunkies finally have a fight to give.
I certainly think that if they play in this very cohesive 5-man block, they can find some massive success. And that round right there is a great example of it. You know, they played as a great core unit, holding on to their site very well, set up it perfectly for that bunker defense, and made it very, very uncomfortable for any control from the Chimp Hunters. And I wonder if they can kind of find that rhythm yet again moving into this. Their 3rd defensive CC in cash. Can they hold on to it now? Three times tends to be the charm. It's a dangerous thing to go to a map or site 3 times, especially if you lose it twice, and that's going to be on the. That could be potential. They can't hold on to it here. So we're going to get into our action phase now, and this is going to be intriguing. I wonder if we're going to see an early opening kill. That could very much define this round, as it looks like Mo is very cautiously anticipating someone to be aggressive. Again, Sturksy was able to do so with that Vigil, with an aggressive peek, and find the opening kill, so that might be on the radar for the rest of this matchup. As we're going to see Atlantic opening up that angle, watching deep inside of Rafters, cuts off that window rotation, but not many people use that at all because it is such a dangerous high traffic area and many guns can be trained on that position. Looks like this main wall will still be a massive area of contention as that bandit trick is on the board. Most drones instantly taken out of that fight, as the bandit can just sit here with peace and trick this wall. But down below, this fight for lounge is going to be important, imperative of this round. If they can hold on to that control and make it very difficult for that verticality to displace the bandit, they're in a very good position to close out this round.
Yes, each time we've seen this round play out, this battle has been huge. Xerxes finally going to be able to find the opening, but not the kill. Sandaros on the flank is there and will be taken away by Nomdedom. Atlantic, the ace, is currently down but not out. But right now, 20 HP and Nomdedom nearby, going to be able to... Oh no, not going to finish it off. Angelo, this refrag game and this cover, this crossfire, it's beautiful, but Heizo on the aggression. Able to find Bullet. Now we're at a 3 versus 3. The halfway mark hasn't even hit and Atlantic is back up. The main breach is open. That ace is still alive, and you have a Rafters player, a Red Stairs player, and a Cash player. This round, it looks like it's going to be a very, very good one. Prefires will go through the Cash wall, and we'll see Heizo looking to get aggressive again. Able to find a kill and gets the diffuser with the aggression. Atlantic and Angelo, they're going to have to leap into action at this point, as Atlantic knows he has to try and get the catch onto Tichy. He's able to get the drop onto him, finds that kill. Rafters has opened up, but now they know you're pushing together, and they know they have diffuser. Atlantic, you've got to move in. You've got to try something and make it happen. But Angelo, he's going to get taken away by the Hyde. Oh, 50 seconds left, Atlantic. This is the moment to step up. Can Spunkies take the lead for the first time? And they will, with Heizo picking up a 3rd. Very, very nice from the Sniper Monkeys. The refrags, though, from Junters, you cannot fault. Constantly, player after player was there to pick up the pieces.
A great exchange between both of these teams, going back and forth in that round, but ultimately the defense were able to play that intrinsic advantage the side has and bunker up and hold their crossfires. Xerxes gets the opening down here. Couldn't collect into a final kill, but a great reaction right there from Sandaros on the Ash to realize, okay, my teammate Atlantic in massive danger. Gotta get aggressive, but this push, this swing finds the player on that rappel on the bullet. He's gonna be thinking second times about that one, ever playing that position as Atlantic tries to make a play here, but ultimately it wasn't long for this Whirl as the hit is going to be in a great position at all. They got a chance to sing in 1-on-1 versus 2 with all these angles available. Not going to be fun to push into this objective.
Yes, now, Sniper Monkeys, like I said, the first time so far, they're going to be in the lead in this matchup, and they're going to be heading to Chimp bedroom. We're seeing Frost and Aruni, two operators that have really come into their own here, because you look, and there's so many opportunities for Vault rotates, which benefit yourselves in a lot of ways. Not only can you just get over, but, well, the attackers, they got to vault over. They got to make sure that there's a frost mat. And even if there isn't a frost mat there, they need to check. They need to take away their guns. So if you know that they're vaulting it, you can just take them down. You can really just get a beautiful swing if you know that vault's coming through, or they're shooting down below because you know they're distracted. That ever-present threat of a frost mat, nobody wants to be caught in them, let's be honest. Now, the Aruni, the Jaeger, that's just screaming out that there's going to be a cash defense. And the one thing I want to see with this Valkyrie from Nomdon is maybe playing in land at C4. Ready to find a kill, you just get a pre-placed C4 down and a camera to watch it. You pull back, you're on site, having someone watch the camera. As soon as they say detonate it, you've got a kill. Xerxes has got a stronger position, although it seems like we're going to see Chunters going for at least a very split approach and opening up that Logi as well.
I certainly agree with that strategy getting brought out. One thing though, Xerxes has had influence so far in this matchup, but hasn't really found it in terms of kill count. He was got that early DBNO, but wasn't able to convert it, so he's not having the most ideal start to this matchup. I'd imagine, though, he'll be able to find some momentum as we move into the later phases of it. That Frost being brought out always raises an eyebrow. You know, it's just one of those things that I've seen so much in recent memory. It just makes you wonder about if anyone's going to actually stumble into the jaws of those welcome mats. I'm surely no one wants to find that one, be that one person that vaults a window, doesn't check, and gets chomped down. And whoa! Oh, a great shot there. Slaps down Xerxes, and not the start that the Sniper Monkeys want at all. Jacuzzi's now opened up, the roam presence being weakened, and the defense find themselves under a pretty surmountable bit of pressure as Angelo on the master bedroom window can cut off rotations and apply pressure directly. Burns that Surya gate and tries to toss another concussion in. Impact as well. Hizzo's going to be able to get one on the bullet. That's trade off now. A 4 versus 4 to ensue. Great control still held, but Tracer's just whizzing past Aruni's head. And it's the Ash thinking about a hot breach. They thought of it, I think they thought better of it ultimately, because it will make a lot of noise. It's a very high risk maneuver to pull that one off.
It's one of those things, though, if you can detonate it at the right time, suddenly, like I said, Heizo, his eyes, they're going to be looking somewhere else as he's worried about this player behind. Hyde, playing a long time in here in this cash room. Atlantic, he's going to have to go for the melee. Hyde realizes exactly this and just said, well, I'm going to get some foot shots. Not going to land any, but suddenly Atlantic's worried. He's pulling back. He doesn't have to Selma. Sandanos is going to get taken down by Heizo. 50 seconds left. The refrag isn't coming out from Atlantic or from Mo. So they're just going to have the whole position. They're going to have to brute force it, though, when it does come to that push. 4 players on Smunkies, 3 on Shunters. Atlantic moving into cash, takes some damage, looks for the gunfight, isn't going to land the shots, has to go through the doorway. No more Selmas left, and Mo's able to find a kill into Titchy, bringing us into a 3 versus 3, but not before Angelo finds the hide, opening things up. But is it too late? The plant, though, it's going to start going down. Control of the master bedroom is in favor of the attackers, and Nom with this C4 is going to really have to show something alongside Heizo. One of them, 12 kills, the other 3, 15 between them. Can they add on to it? Can they make that 18, sorry, pushing over towards the gym bedroom and taking Master there, looking to cut them off. Nom's able to find Atlantic, gets the Claymore so they can actually go through the castle, but the Rooney's gonna get taken away. Angelo finding Heizo. Nom answers back with a kill. It's a 1 versus 1 with time ticking down. 10 seconds and Angelo in the prime position to find this kill, and they will. Chunter's taken around in a 3-3 split onto Clubhouse. Big question though, Whippet. Chunters, they've had a great attacking side when you look at it on paper. So, how's this going to translate into the defense? And Smunkies feels like they've been keeping pace quite a bit, but not really leading this game so far.
The big thing I would say is that every round has been won by a very, very narrow margin. Whether it's coming down to 1v1s or a massive team fight of trades left, right, and center, no team has really run away. We've seen no flawless rounds or nothing necessarily that close to it. So when we see the side swap, I still think we're in for the more of the same. These teams are going to be very close to each other, not giving each other a single inch for free. But the fact that we just witnessed a very strong offensive side from the Chimp Hunters sets them up for a great time on the defense. But as I always say, this map has beginning to slide more towards that attacking favorage. So could Sniper Monkeys build upon that, find themselves a little bit more success here, as CC and Cash will be the very first defense of the Chimp Hunters.
Yeah, now this is the site in which you really have to show what you're made of. There's a Thatcher on the board, and it is being brought out. The big question then, is there going to be a bandit trick? Sundownos bringing the bandit really offers a lot of potential, but then it comes down to that bottom floor hold, like we said. That's why the mirror was banned out, because, well, simply put, Smunkies, they realize the importance of that bottom floor hold on their attack, which they started out on and said, no, we're not going to risk it. They have got Sturksy 1 and 6, a very nice pun with his name. I was very pleased with that one in chat. Much better than when he tried to talk about me and, you know, I don't like it. I feel kind of violated when they try and talk to me. But still, moving on. I love the guys, so, you know, I'll allow it. I'll let it slide this time. Atlantic, though, he's going to let that spawn slide as well. Not able to find a kill, and Mo is going to be in. Garage having to fall back very early on, realizing that that pressure is going to be applied very early on. As our observer Silence just said, silence player, and honestly, I think that that's a very, very good way to look at it. Silence, you can't talk to me. I'm above you, clearly.
Exactly. The smelly off-screener, Science, trying to say. Yeah. Oh, we stand Science, we stand Science. But this is going to be another interesting engagement. The Panda trick is, again, proving to be more influential than you'd like to imagine. The EMPs are there. Sandos is trying to ban the trick, but because, almost seems like eons ago that rework to have the EMPs work, he's not going to be able to pick up that wire up, and he's going to have to give up on that wall. So it's been opened up, a great achievement on that checklist to start moving towards your execution. But that wall open, you can't do a whole lot without finding that opening kill, and look at all the controls still held. Rafters is going to be a massive point of contention, as Mo down below as well, holding on to that lounge control. Whether they liked or not, I think Sniper Monkeys might be walking into a little bit of a trap here, but the only pressure relief they have is that Zafia of Hizo playing by that server window, perhaps being able to split this server side and isolate a 1v1. That Selma charge, though, is going to make Bullet's life a little bit of a nightmare now, as he has to drop prone to stay in cover, and he might be not much of a factor. He's going to take a very high-risk engagement to be able to get back in this fight. As that repel of Sturksy occurs, he's going to be rotating away, but does he have the time to make a split push work? As the hit's going to be able to spot out this Jaeger down below, and this is some good droning, but again, can they capitalize upon it? Can they act on this live information? I don't think they have anyone in a great position to do so, so yes, those yellow pings are there, but he's going to be swinging. Yes, he is. He finds the kill. A great opening there for Sniper Monkeys. With 55 seconds remaining, can they capitalize upon that and get themselves into a prime position for a great execution?
Yeah, right now, like you said beautifully, they need to be able to capitalize upon this information, the positioning. They're gonna start this attack, but with 40 seconds left. Bullet's gonna make it a little bit harder finding one kill. The frag grenade comes up, but the ADS catches it. So many angles to look, and you're not gonna be able to win the one onto the hide. The Rafters is gonna open up. Sturksy able to find a kill onto the former teammate of Angelo. Sandanos has no choice but to pull back. A C4 goes through. It finds that diffuser. You're gonna have to get nommed and om taking that position. And another C4. Oh my lord! It gets the kill. Now it's a 2 versus 2. The vertical play is where Chunters are going to win this round out if Monkeys don't deal with it. But right now they have a lot of pressure to deal with. Atlantic down below is going to put the pressure on, going to go for the kill. He's not able to land it, but he's keeping the hide from planting. Sandanos will fall, but Atlantic's still there. He doesn't know. The plant's going to go down. And Atlantic, he has to go up these red stairs. The post plant's there. It's a 1 versus 2. He's going to have to find and isolate these attackers. And in doing so, it's going to be a very, very difficult job. Under 75 HP between the attackers. But right now, time, positioning, the weapons, it's all going to favor the attack. As Atlantic just puts a bullet into a body, prepared. Doesn't realize the player's in R3, not R2. and is just gonna have to commit to it. You're running out of time. The Hide's gonna get baited up. He's gonna go for the kill. Can't land the shots, but you don't need to. You just need to waste the time. And Atlantic, he's gonna try it, but he won't have. No, it's not happening. Smonkeys will pick up their first attacking ground onto CCTV, and the Hide finds that final kill.
I wonder if that decision or that call out was made to try and long armor through a wall was just made a few seconds earlier. He would have been able to get an appropriate sized hole and be able to get that done. That would have been a galaxy brain play, but ultimately just the time was against him. A great round by Sniper Monkeys, but again, I mentioned as we moved into that side swab, none of these rounds have been won by significant margins. It is all down to the wire. Brawls, trades, left, right, and center, and that verticality being brought out by the Chimp Hunters was so imperative. Yes.
There's something I need to bring up, and that's how the round would have been over a while ago if Atlantic used the MPX. Look at that. You're trying to use it, but
Well, it has to reload.
you're going for
there.
the deagle at that point. It has to reload, yeah, but 2 seconds. And then as soon as that plank goes down, you commit to it. Like, honestly, that MPX, it could have been used to much greater effect than you're trying to use the deagle quite a bit. Ultimately, those Smonkeys, a huge execute from them. At 20-second meta, it made a beautiful reappearance after Smonkeys found that opening kill. They dealt with the Rafters player after dealing with Mo. As soon as that happens, suddenly garages open up. They have an entry onto the site. The breach is open. So they actually have something tangible to grab onto, which they didn't have. I didn't feel like they had in the first minute and a half. So Sturksy bringing this Capital is probably going to be looking to flame off a lot of these problem areas. The vertical play was where they fell prey to quite a number of times in that round. So, big question. How are they going to deal with that? Are they going to go downstairs for that lounge clear like we saw Chunters do on their attack? Or are Smonkeys just going to say, sure, we'll lose a couple of players to C4. We'll still win, but we'll lose a couple of players.
With Atlantic taking just a small lick of damage there through that single construction wall. The amount of times I've seen just a stray bullet find an opening kill from that position, it's almost terrifying to even cross that area at the early stages of a round.
Oh, this is quite nice. Sundownos is doing a different kind of bandit trick. Going for that hard breach gadget on the garage, realizing that you lost that control, suddenly Bullet can rotate out, had to take the gunfight, and that's why they lost. The breach, well, it's the Thatcher on the board, it's garage CCTV, it's gonna get opened up at any point. So I feel like they were just doing damage control. They were saying you can't get this open. You need to rotate your thermite around if you want this garage control. That's not going to happen. Mo is going to go for some pre-fires, realizing there's going to be a lot of pressure coming over his way. In doing so, hold that position, wait, take these gunfights. You need that bottom floor control. You need them to flush you out, because if you keep it, well, you're going to have a real good end round, which we almost saw last time. But this construction player, oh no, Sandaudos. This is going to end horribly. Although Atlantic is the one to find a kill onto Sturksy.
A great opening there, as that's going to be Sandaudos finding that kill, boosted up and elevating his head away from the main line of fire, and gets ultimately what seems like a bit of a freebie. It's going to be a 5 versus 3 now, 1:25 remains. This is a very tricky position for the Sniper Monkeys. They've achieved that main wall. They haven't breached inside of that garage yet. They'll be able to do so now and begin claiming that control and trying to get Rafters under their belt, but it's going to be a tricky fight. The control is there. This could be a very nasty shot, but it's just going to be a lucky day for Mo. And I wonder, is he going to try and get aggressive via the main door? I think he is. Will he swing and find the damage? No! His position gets compromised at the very final second. Atlantic as well looks for some potential here, as Nom the Nom has that angle to work with. Shots narrowly missing Mo. He's going to count his lucky stars for that one. But again, he might get aggressive. He has that Valkyrie there for support. Well, this is just going to be burning down that timer, causing an uneasiness in the side of Sniper Monkeys. Not only do they have to worry about that timer, but the 5 active guns trained on their positions. But that drone hole is going to present a golden opportunity as Mo falls through it. And a 4 versus 3 to ensue. The Hive tries to get control of Rafters now. A flashbang there for the board, but so many angles. So tricky, but the LD5 sings sweet and he gets it. 3 versus 3. It's a comeback on. He gets a second. Rafters is now controlled by Sniper Monkeys, but the timer, look at it, it's going to hit red. Atlantic down below once again. C4 in hand, primed and ready. And it's going to be a dive bomb to get this diffuser down, but the time just isn't there. His support and covers there. The C4 misses. Nom the Nom's going to be able to get this plant down, perhaps, maybe. It's going to be a narrow engagement. The hit's gonna find a third, but no! He's not there to cover! Angelo swings, and that's gonna be Chimp Hunters tying us up yet again, 4 rounds apiece. And it continues to be the trend. Nothing is given up for free. The narrowest of margins, it is death by 1,000 paper cuts in this matchup.
This, Whippet, this is what I wanted to see from Sniper Monkeys. This is the team that we knew could show up and just hasn't so far. Look at the Hive. Finding one kill, finding another, realizing as soon as these ADSs are gone, the job isn't done. The flank watch, that's the big thing. Atlantic is gonna try and flank and get that Rafters control, feeling sneaky. Hive's just there to shut things down. Huge swing coming out from Angelo though, finding that kill. Sniper Monkeys didn't win the round, but there is a lot in both teams, and honestly, I'm just excited Sniper Monkeys are showing up. Bottom floor, though, this is where things are going to have to change. You're not going to have that control of that top floor. You're not going to be able to get garage or rafters open in the same way you normally do. Chunters, they're probably going to go for that room game. They're bringing the Aruni, which kind of says they'll give themselves easy rotates that they could do on the fly. And with the Aruni, the P10 Roni, it's just an operator that can cause a lot of damage. Valkyrie being brought out by Atlantic alongside this Maestro and Mute, well, it looks like it's going to be a typical turtle strat. But it doesn't surprise me at all. Big thing though, Tichy, Sniper Monkeys, they have not slept on the fact that Thatcher is still on the board and said, we are bringing it. This is important and we want it.
Oh, this has been such a fantastic matchup so far. These teams are trading blow for blow. Trading off rounds left, right, and center. No one has had more than a single round advantage. And this is exactly what you love to see. We move in now to this round. Can Sniper Monkeys find that level of success they need, as this basement can be often somewhat feel impervious to attack, and a very aggressive push in via jungle. I'm wondering, is this going to be a very fast attack strategy?
Yeah.
I think it is. That Saria Gate will slow them down and perhaps give away their intent. But it looks like it's going to be Zafir that make an opening. But no! Double taps the impact, but not timing it perfectly with that Saria Gate. And shut down from below. That's Mo with the opening. Angelo gets another one. And it looks like that early aggression is going to be paying the price. The Sniper Monkeys find themselves yet again in a 5 versus 3, but this time much earlier in a round with far less control under their belt. This will be a nightmare to fight with, as Atlantic still exists upstairs. They haven't cleared that Valkyrie. Yes, Moto Hatch is there, but they haven't shored up their flanks, and that could be a massive threat if they don't deal with it soon.
Highs on the Hive, huge kills for Chunters at the moment, because you look at it, these two players have stepped up in a massive, massive way for the attack. Sandanos waiting in the wings just like Atlantic. They know that Smonkeys have sold out and they're trying to find something, and he hears Sturksy sprinting, going down those main stairs. At the very least, the team have the information. There is a Mute Jammer on that church wall. It's going to stop that ace charge from going out, and the push is going to go through. Suddenly, this flank game, it's going to be horrible. You're looking at Smonkeys, they don't know it, but they are right now. They are sardines in a can. Sandanos, realizing the call has been made, is just going to pull back. But Chunters, they have every advantage that they could possibly need. The flank watch is there. They are holding these key positions on the side of Smonkeys, but the key positions they need to push into are the choke points. They're able to get part of this church wall open, granted, but right now, while this takes place, they're going to expose themselves. Bullet's going to want to get aggressive. Oh my lord, Atlantic! The C4, it rings out and rings true, and they just say, oh no, he knew it was happening. Oh no! What a C4 to just shut down the Smonkeys. The rush, it didn't work out. As soon as the Surya Gate was gone, and they lost those concussions, they were forced to go over to Moto. The position had been given away, the Roamers, they just took control of the top. And yeah, well, Sniper Monkey sniped off the face of the earth with that C4, but they're giving a good game, which is something good. However, Chunters, they're back in the lead. They're back going to take that gym bedroom site, and if they can get this, they'll take match point. If they can get onto match point, well, they're only one round away from closing everything down and keeping Sniper Monkeys with only one win so far.
I really just want to rewind that round to the very beginning. We would have had a much different story if that second impact from the Zofia lifeline was delayed by just another half a second. If he waited to pull that trigger the second, also perfectly synchronized reinforcement there. But if he waited just another half a second, the impact would have went through that gate clean as you like and opened up that Canadian wall. They would have had a free opportunity to rush into that site, which I think was their initial plan. That is just proving that it's the smallest and narrowest of margins that can separate teams in a round. And it was a flawless round, the most dominant round we've seen so far, and it truly just was. I think that small, that little tiny mistake which just threw off Sniper Monkeys.
Because you look at the Sniper Monkeys and you say they were going to open that. They were going to rush and going to get aggressive. They open that wall. They catch two players off guard. They have armory control. They put a player on the flank watch on main. Somebody's watching that main long corridor, and you have somebody getting aggressive. You have somebody in moto looking for the rotate, and it's somebody holding the flank. You have a lot of potential if you get down there. There's a lot of merit to the idea, but it does rely upon that second impact nade going off. That didn't happen. Sniper Monkeys trying to save off, well, match point, trying to get themselves something, and Jacuzzi side is where we're going to see Sturksy trying to open things up. Drone will be taken away, though, and the rest of Sniper Monkeys, they're going to be preparing themselves and kind of working out how they want to approach this without a Thatcher on the board, most importantly.
Again, they could bring a Thatcher if they wanted to. It would make their lives a lot easier. Again, this is one of the weird things that happens in the... Oh no!
You don't get away with that. Atlantic as well, finding a kill of the Nomdadom.
That is a massive opening so far for the defensive side. Oh, this is a headache right now if you're in the side of Sniper Monkeys. You've got someone DBNO, you've got this nasty casualty, and the EMPs of a Thatcher, if it was brought out, would have made this push far more simplistic.
Save it all. Yeah.
Oh, this is one of the things that is a really interesting dynamic, is the teams are so used to not playing with Thatcher. They're so used to having to do all the workarounds that when there is available, sometimes people just don't bring it because they have a lineup that's designed around not having that Thatcher available. And it looks like right now this is going to be a very, very tricky round, as that Thatcher ban has slowed this push down to an absolute crawl. Hizzo's in a great position to try and deny those bandit wires from the gym window. That's going to be able to get done now, but from an impact, from some form of explosive via that drone hold, a grenade from this ledge. But that reinforcement happens by Mo, so that's going to ensure his position inside the bathroom just up a little bit more. A tricky round for Sniper Monkeys to ensue. Some shots whizzing past that server window. Atlantic, though, only has to land a single shot to send Sophia to the grave. It's going to be a very tentative moment from this player. I wonder, is this going to be a tricky brawl of a round? 50 seconds remain, and can they make this execution stick as Atlantic swings and pre-fires to perfection? Second in the round, and this is going to probably spell disaster now, as once again, it was a 5 versus 3, but make it a 4 versus 3 as the grenade lands perfectly and finds the bandit. An entryway and Logi's available, and Tichy's going to get one on the bullet. Perhaps this round may unravel, but Mo with the UMP stays calm and collected. Angelo with the SMG-11 collects the head of Tichy, and now it's all down to the hit in a 1 versus 3. He's going to spot the player rotating down towards construction, but has to hold his ground. Can't do anything too overzealous, but look at that timer. 15 seconds. It's all but over now. Surely Chimp Hunters will be able to find themselves on that match point advantage, as it looks like the sledge gets aggressive and slapped down by Atlantic, who finds 3 in the round and pushes his team to match point.
Yeah, now, Chimp Hunters, that was a good round. You're able to forget Atlantic getting that first kill. Heiser being downed on the window. Okay, there's a big issue there that I need to talk about. Sniper Monkeys, they had nobody watching that CCTV window. That's not where we saw Heiser get down from, but nobody was covering that. And that was a big issue. Suddenly, as soon as Heiser's injured and has to be revived, we're looking at Sturksy and the Hive both holding that window at that point, saying, okay, we'll cover it, go for the plan. There's some chinks in the armor with the coordination, because there should be somebody. If you're playing a player on that window, there needs to be somebody covering CCTV window so that Heiser doesn't have to worry about 17 angles and is distracted when it comes to that final gunfight, which got him knocked down. Atlantic then came for the swing and shut them all down. Then it just came to dropping into Logi, getting taken away. Beautifully played from the Chimp Hunters. If they win this, they totally deserve to. If Sniper Monkeys get this, then my prediction, is one step closer to taking place, and you know what, I'll allow it. CCTV, though, that's where we're going to be heading for this site, and we're seeing the same lineups coming out from both teams realistically. Seriously going to a bit more of a comfort pick of that Yana, and, I mean, it's deadly when he gets going, but looking at the KD right now, I think we're quite safe from that at the moment. Based on past history. Obviously, I could be wrong, you know, Caster's Curse, we've talked about it before, and then no doubt we'll talk about it again with it.
Oh, certainly. So hopefully you've set a bit of a caster curse, and it's hopefully Stokesy can find a little bit more momentum. You mentioned, though, that perhaps the Yana is a little bit more of a comfort pick, but there is a little bit of a benefit of bringing that Yana. The extra is kind of almost the unlimited droning potential, and there is no mute on the board. So those Gemini replicators will be able to get free round of information, and if played correctly with someone there to act as almost a trade-off buddy with that replicator, it can almost give people free kills for that entryway. Salma Charge already chewing through that wall inside of Garage. Again, this is going to be exactly what you'd expect for a push. Meat and potatoes for Siege. The contextual ping there is going to spot out that ADS, and I imagine Nom the Nom is going to be able to get that out of play. An interesting placement of that utility, but the Astro entry into stock could be a very important positioning to hold on to, especially with that verticality present. The player in Bard tries to deny that entryway, but can't find the land damage to do so. Well, it just has to exist right now. Red pings are there to try and make it an uncomfortable fight, and that's going to be Moen. He's going to have support of Atlantic, but Bullet's going to take matters into his own hand, finds the opening kill, has to hide off the board very early in this matchup.
Yeah, the Rafters player, that's a huge, huge player at the moment. And now you only have 2 smoke grenades to burn those ADSs, get Sturksy in to find a kill. This is a big, big ass coming out right now. He has to rotate, can go below and use that frag grenade, but you know about these roamers. Oh, Sturksy, calm down. Able to find a kill onto Atlantic through that little bar. Now, they know about the Rafters player, but they've evened things up. They can deal with it. They're in a much, much better position. Now the high needs to distract the player. The ADS will catch one frag grenade, but there's still another up there. Nom the Nom taking some damage, but Sandanos gets him with the C4. Nom the Nom's able to get that refrag onto Bullet, but suddenly Sandanos is right there, holding that position and waiting to deal with Heizo. Heizo opting to instead pull back and say, okay, we might just have to go for the breach here. Sniper Monkeys, it's not looking great. You need those EMPs. You need to shut down the bandit charges. And this is happening with a minute left on the board. So, Sniper Monkeys, they don't have a lot of time to move around. They don't have a lot of time to go for a multi-tier push. They've just got to brute force it. They've just got to win this out. Pitchy will be looking for this flank, for this rotate coming out from the player in stock. But it's going to be Heizo looking to get aggressive. Find the kill, does the damage, but not the killing blow. And suddenly, well, you've got to look at this as Chimp Hunters. They're controlling everything right now. The breach is open, and it's a 3 versus 3. But time, that's the 6th defender. That's what's going to be what wins Chimp Hunters this. The EMP Summit will go off. Titchy will find a kill into Sandanos. The push, it's going to have to come through. You only have 2 players, but that's all you need. Nom the Nom's down, and the smoke canister, it means nothing. But Heizo has a diffuser. So, still hope, still potential right there. And they're going to go for the revive. And I don't blame them in a 3 versus 2. But with time ticking down, the question is, can you afford to do it? You need this side control, and Angelo's gonna find Heizo. It's all down to Titchy. You need to find 2 kills in 10 seconds, and they know exactly where you are. Mo's gonna put them through, and Chunters, well, that's just not gonna be, that's gonna be them closing it out. Sniper Monkeys, a close game. It wasn't what I predicted, but it was still a close game regardless. Something is there. It's just coming down to very, very little things. Waiting too long on an impact nade. Just not positioning properly in a huge, huge round. Just little tiny things that are costing them the kills. And Chunters, well, what can you say other than they were the better team? It just came down to every time there was just a 1v1, you could really count on them to bring it up, couldn't you? Look at this position right here. You've got 1 frag grenade goes up. I don't even know where the C4 came from. I think it just went down below from the window. Nobody's covering that. They don't have any position. And simply put, a very nice game from both teams, but only one could win. Sniper Monkeys, they're going to be falling and apparently going to be going into the Shadow Realm on my camera.
Yeah, what's going on? This is pretty in 420p. It's it's definitely a downgrade. We want to see you in 4K. When's that DSLR coming in? That would be, you need that now to really step up your visual. But a great performance from Chimp Hunters. Truly dominant from them in those kind of final few rounds. They always manage to find themselves in 5 versus 3, 4 versus 3 positions, and they never seem to let go of that advantage. Once they've done the damage, well, it was almost like they had Sniper Monkeys in their jaws and they just didn't let them go. Those final 2 rounds were very, very dominant from them. As we mentioned, it was the tiniest of things, the smallest of margins that led to the defeat of Sniper Monkeys, from waiting or being a little bit overzealous with popping your second impact to try and get that rush down the main stairs, or the fact that they just didn't bring a Thatcher when they were attacking Gym Bedroom. Small things make a massive difference in a game like Siege, and ultimately, when you add them all up, that's what spelled disaster for them. They just couldn't get those rounds on the board. That's how the result went. That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, well, you said maybe we're curious to watch Clubhouse for the rest of our days with it based on last night, but it wasn't a 7-1, it was a 7-4. Both teams, they had good opportunities, but yeah, Chunters, they just were able to close it down. They had the positioning, they had refrag game, which I can't fault at all. They played really, really close together and were able to just shut things down when it really came to it. Immediately, we're seeing blink of an eye refrags. That's something you need in a high-quality team, but well, speaking of high-quality teams, we're going to see the 5th and 6th position at the moment going up against each other in our next game. Randy Ravens will be taking on the Froggers, but we are going to be taking a very short break first of all, so don't go anywhere. Maybe grab a snack, maybe grab a drink, maybe go have a little walk around, get some blood back in your legs and back in your head after watching what we just saw, because I'm a little flushed, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to need 5, so be back soon. Hello and welcome back to the Badass University All-Stars. With it, we saw a very, very good game coming out from the Sniper Monkeys and Chimp Hunters, where Chimp Hunters were just able to peg it out. It was the first team to get 2 rounds in a row, and that's how they were able to win it out, simply put. Though we are going through the Randy Ravens and the Froggers, so we're just going up a little bit in the leaderboard, but still an important game nonetheless. We've already seen the Princesses and Triton duke it out. Imperium of Mandem, they played yesterday as well. We're now coming down to find out, start finalizing these positions ready for playoffs. Froggers and Randy Ravens, they're mid-performing teams, aren't they?
Yeah, they really have been, but one thing I do want to highlight is that we've seen Randy Ravens with a mega comeback, I believe, 2 play days ago. I believe, against, it wasn't Team Triton. I can't, Imperium Man. My memory deceives me sometimes, but it was on Oregon. I remember them having an absolutely mega comeback on that one. So they are a very dangerous team, and they're beginning to kind of go on a bit of an upward trend. They've been putting more results on the board. They're playing much better. I would really want to see them kind of take that next step, really have a dominant display here, and they might be able to secure that position in the top 4, as you're mentioning, if they can have that dominant result here.
You know, it's actually kind of scary because I look at Randy Ravens and Mally, or Jono, a player that I do quite like. If we could get the rosters up, I'll talk you through it right now. But he was on Chexeland with Circe last season, and this is the exact kind of path that Chexeland followed, in which they won it all out in the end. Their lower bracket runs were incredible. Now, obviously, with the group stage, that's not exactly happening right now. But when we do look towards the playoffs, well, maybe there might be something juicy there. If they're able to win this game, they'll get their position in that top 4, and as we start moving forward, they'll start just locking in for the later stages. If they can do that, they can constantly put consistent rounds on the board, wins or draws, or at least OT wins, then they're looking in a very strong position to go with Imperium of Mandem, Triton, and the Princesses in that top 4 spot. Now, big thing from the Froggers is that they're also not one to really shy away from. The only difference between both of these teams is a win, realistically. Actually, Randy Ravens, they're below the Froggers, but now that I look at this, and I'm not actually getting it wrong, because it's very important to get things right with it when you're looking at stats, there is 2 rounds between these 2 teams at the moment. They've both won and lost 2. And there's 2 rounds between them. Randy Ravens, they started out struggling, and now they've really started to step up, which makes me think, okay, how long is this 2 rounds difference going to last? How are they going to be able to really bounce back from this and really step things up?
I think there's a massive potential for them to find that extra gear, to really push on and find their next level of play. Again, it's one of those things that from Playday 1 to this current point, they've been on this upward trajectory. They didn't get a great start to the season, but they've learned from their mistakes. They've built upon it, and every single week they've made developments. They've got better and better and better, and not only as individuals, but as that core 5-man roster. So this is something to really keep your eye on for this. And you know, it sounds a little bit biased, but they put on a massive show on I believe, almost a complete reverse sweep on Oregon 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And you know, if you manage to make a play like that, you win my heart over. So I really do have massive kind of hopes for their potential as we move into really the business end of this season.
Yeah, I believe that was when we actually casted it together as well. But let's take a look at these rosters like I talked about. Now, the side of Randy Ravens, the thing, it's got a lot of potential on them. They have a lot of talent in that roster. You look at Deathly, Trash Waifu, Mally, iNoob, Smith. Those are some huge players to bring through. Whereas on the flip side, there's no lack of talent either. Murph, Yukio, Volcanoid, Flo, and Reversed. They're all players that can really step things up. Reversed being on the Power Rangers team, which you know, I sent them a message and I kind of said, "Yo, dude, I'm a professional entry fragger. Get me in." And they've kind of been airing me, so maybe there's a little bit of professional bias coming through. But yeah, it's fine. I'll get my little bias card, which I can hold up anytime I want to feel biased. But looking at the Froggers as well, they've still been able to put consistent results on the board. The players like Murph, Flo, and Reverse, they've really been standout players for me. Volcanoid and Yukio, they fill that gap of being able to get the support, get the flank watch in. I know Volcanoid, something that stood out to me a lot in first season, was she loved to just hold those red stairs on Kaf Dostoevsky. That was her domain, realistically. She'd hold that position, anybody on the flank, nothing. They wouldn't get past her. So having a team like Froggers going up against Randy Ravens, there's a nice lot of balance in there, and I'm really excited to see how this goes through. Now, like I said, about the bias being there, I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna explain it all. Trash Waifu and Mally, they're my friends. I quite like them, and I do hope they win. I'm going to be 100% get it all off my chest, but that's not going to get in the way of me being honest. You know, if Froggers, they play the better game, then they play the better game. And honestly, I want to see both teams really outstand.
Oh man, do you just let the trade secret that we could actually have favorite teams out there is created? Oh my.
Wait, we're not robots?
What? We're not
What?
autonomous casting robots?
I'm a real boy?
What? Seriously? Oh, that's crazy. I cannot believe it. You know, while we might have all of these magic superpowers to create extra hours and days and not abide by time zones, we still can't start games. You know, we are only casters at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're not that powerful, are we?
No. But again, very strong rosters. I'm looking forward to getting into this one. Again, Randy Ravens have been able to put on a kind of an improvement, a gradual progression in their playstyle, and Froggers have been consistent from day one to this point, so it's going to be interesting to see them go head-to-head, especially considering they're so close in the standings to each other.
Yeah, you got to think, right? If Froggers are leveling out and giving consistent performances, well, Randy Ravens has a lot more potential moving forward. This could be the latest stepping stone. They need to leapfrog. See what I did there? And soar over the competition all the way up to that top spot. Now, I'm hearing groans from production, but that's perfectly fine because I can talk and you can't. Now, let's bring it back to our faces just a little bit and start thinking about these map bans. So, Randy Ravens, Oregon, clearly that's one of their very, very comfortable maps. And it's not going to be there because they played it last week, which was the game we casted. Clubhouse also going to be taken away, making sure that we're not going to be going back there. The curse is lifted with it. But one of them.
Blessed, we don't have to worry about going back to Clubhouse for a fourth consecutive matchup. It's a weight off our chest, but unfortunately, I have took a sneak peek. I have spoiled the map ban or the map veto stage for myself, Trudy. You're not going to like what's next. The Chalet is going to get banned out by Ravens, followed by Froggers getting rid of Villa. But we are going to a cafe. We can sit down. We can enjoy our lunch in a lovely cafe in the middle of Moscow as we were getting into this matchup. A map that is, well, an interesting one. It used to be my favorite in the entire game, in the entirety of competitive play, but it's begun to get a little bit stale. It's kind of, I think it's getting to that stage where it's very played out, it's very well defined, and it's part of what I tend to call the T4 trifecta. It's one of the most common maps to get played because, well, it's an older map. It's been around for so long, and it's one of them that lots of teams have core strategies of, and there's so much VOD of every single level of play, especially in T1 of this map being played. So everyone has a very well-rounded and strong strat book here. So it's, again, very similar to Clubhouse, just a little bit more difficult, I think, a little bit more defender-sided, but it's going to be a good litmus test between these teams, considering they're so close in standing. So I wonder who's going to be able to put up the better showing on this.
You know what, I kind of want to get like a nice little counter of how many times you've said a litmus test because of the amount of maps that we've seen that require that kind of analysis. Another thing about the map bans that really gets me, these teams are teasing me with a Chalet because it's always the last map to get banned. But Randy Ravens, they want to take it away now. Big thing about that says that out to me. The last time I saw this was me and Jerry watching, I believe it was actually Chimp Hunters playing on that map, and realistically we talked about a lot of things. Most importantly, the momentum of the map, it's all the defenders, and that's something we saw quite a bit because we saw that piano area. As soon as the defenders pull back, that's when the attackers get the opportunity to start kind of spreading out. Otherwise, they're just constricted into that little minibar area, into those red stairs. The question is how quickly can you flush them out? We are going to be finding out the answer to that question very, very early on with Randy Ravens going on to the defense, or Ravens. I can't really roll my R's. I'm going to have to ask you to do that.
Do you think, what makes you think I can roll my R's?
You had epic 32 moment. You can...
Did I roll my R's in that clip?
I don't know. But still, anyway, moving forward, the bans. Let's take a look. Thatcher's going to be taken away, and shockingly enough, that makes a lot of sense. You think about Bakery, you think about Freezer. Not the huge impact on the top floor, making him a must-pick for that top floor site, but still a huge operator to bring when you think of anything other than that. Shot coming out from Observer, he's never seen anything like this. He's a small boy. He's a baby boy. He's not used to the intricacies of a Thatcher ban like the rest of us. So Jackal being taken away, well, that makes a lot of sense. Froggers, they want to think about their defense now. They want to deal with this roam somehow, but they don't want to take away that Nomad, because that Nomad, they can bring on their attack.
Yeah, Nomad is a very strong tool on a map like this. Completely chokes out rotations and can be a nightmare for anyone trying to roam as they hear that small little ring of a bell on the top of a door and they know they're going to get booped into oblivion. Valkyrie's next to go. Always a wise choice, always a strong band. Just to deny that extra bit of information gives you, as the attacking side, a little bit more freedom and kind of limits how much the defense can see. Melusi, final operator to get taken out of the fray. The Banshees are a nightmare to deal with, and especially on a map like this, where you're going to be very confined. It's a very claustrophobic map in positions such as Bakery, as well as inside a piano, and especially in that cigar shop. A single Banshee, the moment it begins to wail, can cause nightmarish consequences for any team. So, a very smart and sensible ban. And speaking of upstairs, that's going to be our very first site for Randy Ravens.
Yeah, now looking at that top floor, especially with that Maestro being brought, you think about that being, that's the top floor. With the Thatcher ban, and honestly the Valkyrie and Melusi being taken away as well, you think there's a lot more utility that you can put on that and commit to the top floor, rather than that bottom floor. So you want to go there first and get that first round on the board. The Valkyrie and Melusi, they fulfill the same role of giving that passive information. And you have a C4, a very good, very, very competent gun on that roam potential. So, you're taking those away. You're shutting down a lot of these choke points where the Melusi can really make you struggle on Randy Ravens. And I think they're just saying, let's not deal with that with our attack. Go to the top floor, though. They're going to open up this cart wall and that Maestro camera. I haven't really seen that position there before, but I'm very interested. Because you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, by the time attackers are going to be looking for this default push, they'll have used a lot of utility. And if I'm going to commit at least one Maestro camera onto one of those pillars, they would be swinging in to try and deal with a Maestro camera after taking one out already, but overexposing. So then they have a real dilemma ahead of them. They need to think, do we focus on this camera and expose ourselves to gunfights, or do we focus on a gunfight and expose ourselves to vertical play, C4s? That Maestro camera being used to actually give away, to do damage, and give away our position. There is a lot of nitpicking I can do with this setup, with these picks, with everything we've seen so far, but there's only one way we're going to find out what's going to happen.
Some team damage getting done there, Holly. That's going to be unfortunate for the Jaeger, but as you're just a little bit kind of backtrack to go back to the Evil Eye, it being placed in that trash default plan position is a very alternate spot. Not many Maestros are going to get spotted or played in that position, so as you normally expect, as you drop in the cigar, you'd see one on that closest pillar, and that might be an interesting thing, you know, deceptive strategy. Okay, there's no Evil Eye there, perhaps you don't have that Maestro with a 6 picked away to, and they might not have solid information on that location. Of course, they have the IQ, so it might get spotted out from that scanner. And a great use of verticality to clear away those bandit charges, or clear away those mute jammers, I should say. Give that opening for that wall to get breached into later in this round. More damage done to that Jaeger.
Work, though. That's the best bit. The mute jammer's still there.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh, that's an no bother.
Oh no, right, okay. See what's happening here? They're calling up the wrong one. It's actually inside of shop. There's still one on that red wall. Now, it is only going to cover one wall, but it is still going to have that impact when you think about things like maybe later drones, or the fact that when you're pushing through... Yeah, alright, it's taken away, never mind. I was kind of rambling on at that point, but that's okay, that's perfectly fine. Right now, Comrade Barney in a very, very nice position. Now, if you shoot those barricades, you can actually stand right behind that bomb. Oh. And, well, he's going to be able to find a quick kill onto Reverse, taking away the Power Ranger, putting him into the dirt, more of the Flank Watch Ranger, I don't know. Yeah, come on, you can come up with a meme. You're the joke guy. But Comrade Barney, he's going to be taken away by Volcanoid with that 552 Commando. She's going to try and get these domineering lines of sight that Cav Dostoevsky Tops 4 is renowned for. The Goo Mine will slow down this progress, and with a minute left, well, a 4 versus 4, there's still a lot of potential for both teams as the Gon 6 rings out.
This is going to be a very, very dangerous engagement for everyone to take. Definitely. With that shotgun, in close quarters, by bathroom door. How many times have we seen a complete round falter to this key position? The Evil Eye as well can zap away and finds a little bit of damage on the Volcanoid. She's not going to want to stay still for much longer, but again, those lasers don't do a lot of damage. It's just going to be applying some pressure. The shotgun lies in wait, swings, but met by 3 active guns. A C4 toss to cover that retreat. but most importantly, definitely still in this fight. And Trash Waifu makes an incredible swing and finds Vulcanoid. Flu's going to get one, and the definitely clears away that shotgun. So now Bathroom falls as Trash Waifu's going to take a lot of damage. That one in a tricky position, but Yukio gets that kill. That Jaeger finally falls in a 3 versus 2. Smoke grenades deployed, but can they get down that plant? And with the pistol, Wamai goes crazy, gets one, but shut down. It's all down. The Maestro finds one. It's a 1 versus 1. Murph's got a stick, but the information is there, and the ult is going to be perfect to collect that final kill. Yes, it is. Only needed around 1 bullet in that magazine, and plenty of time to get that diffuser down. As we fade away, go off into our skybox as defenders claim our very first round as Randy Ravens get that victory point on the board early. Scrappy, absolutely insanity early on. We just see Trash Waifu swinging aggressively with a pistol in hand, tries to make that play work, finds 1 kill, couldn't get any more, but that's what you love to see. People taking initiative, just going, alright, I've got no ammo on my primary, I've got to fight this position. Pistol it is, and made it work by this shot from Comrade Barney. A great position, a great line of sight, and only needed 1 shot to put Reversed in the grave.
Whippet, I've got a very important question for you. Looking at this play, the pistol getting aggressive, does this explain a lot more about me, knowing that this is the type of person I play Siege with? Granted,
Yes.
there was a refrag when you see Murph able to find that kill, but that constant information, the time pressure, you're forcing Flo, she's going to try and take a gunfight, and then suddenly just iNoob says, well, I've got an Alder. You've got nothing at this point. You're just dead in the dirt. You're looking the wrong way. The bottom floor, that's where we're going to be heading to. The Cade. Capcan will be brought out. And Mally, he's a bit of a maestro on the Capcan. Let me tell you now, for those of you, the veterans of Season 1 may remember, Orca, she did not have a great time against Mally's Capcan. A lot of impact. She'd die every other round to a Capcan trap, which was kind of painful to watch, but kind of funny at the same time. Because you're seeing a team that are looking at how the others play, and they're saying, where are our weaknesses? That's something I think Mally, he can bring further in and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to find their weaknesses. We're going to take control of it. And at least with a Capcan trap, you get passive damage. You get passive information because they're either triggering or shooting those traps. You talked about it before. You laughed about it before on this very stream, Whippet.
It was
And then you watched the kill.
It was even Randy Ravens that done it. No, it wasn't actually. My mind.
No, it was Clubhouse.
It was Clubhouse.
It was Minutemen
Yep.
and
Oh man.
It was Minutemen and
The moment we mention anything, when it comes, or at least I mention anything, when it comes to strategy or operator choice, I'm instantly proven wrong. I remember questioning that Capcan choice, and seconds later, someone died to an EED, and that was just going to put me to shame. The Gemini Replicator, not long for this world, sent through the Skylight drop, not gathering any valid information other than the fact that, okay, it was destroyed, meaning someone's at least watching that position, but they couldn't gather any more detailed position from that. Lots of drones getting deployed, and that's a very necessary take, but doesn't spot out iNoob, and well, Comrade Barney's going to be able to find that trade-off. A fantastic collapse on that entry. Yukio is going to get iNoob, but that trade was done to perfection. As Comrade Barney's just going to be able to rotate around, and he can cause some chaos if given the chance to do so. I wonder if their flanks will be watched well enough to stop this from happening.
yeah, a lot of moving parts in this roam game for the Ravens, but that's exactly what's giving them the benefit. They were able to just walk around the Froggers, and right, that Gemini, it went through and it basically said, okay, there's someone here. We haven't lost utility, which is a very good thing, because we just said, okay, let's get moving, let's get control of this, and let's just make sure, if we drop down, they're gonna shoot me, and if we put a Gemini in, we lose nothing. Although, maybe with the entry does, nobody droning, oh, deathly! Alright, I'll shut up! Able to find 2 kills, make that 3! Shuts down that bakery, and shuts down the push coming from the attackers. Alright, okay, I get it, I won't talk, but at least there's something funny to look at, something very nicely played, very good reading coming out from the Ravens, both on the roam game and the anchor, realizing the tunnel vision of the Froggers, it just was not happening. They weren't going to get anything. They weren't watching the flank cams. They didn't have anything there, and we're seeing an adjustment in the lineup for a very, very good reason. Nomad being brought as we look to attack this reading fire plume. Fire plume? Fireplace. Whip it. I'm tired.
It works.
I'm going to have a nap and let you take over.
Oh, well, I have to tuck you in first, Critty. Have a good little nap. I'll see you in several moments as I ramble through this starting round. But of course, Reading Fireplace getting brought out, tertiary site, but one of the strongest tertiary sites in the entirety of this game. Because it's got so much flexibility, and the amount of control you can dictate and apply from this area that we see Valley in right now is insane. You can have vertical positions. You can be able to have a great denial of anyone trying to push through that pillar door. You can deny that rush from here, and everything funnels in from this position. The only other viable way of pushing this site is to go direct. Try and take mining, try and take train, and force your way in the dining. But again, you can set up so many nasty crossfires, so many difficult positions to fight against from the offensive side. You're often forced just to take this default hold of upstairs because, well, it's the most optimal way to do things.
And now that we look at this camp can coming, not the camp can. I think I need another nap, but well, we don't have time for that. Castle is going to be played out. The Meat Jammer and the Mozzie are going to go with it, so that top floor is going to be a very difficult time for the Froggers. Now, droning is a big weakness of theirs, and this is Ravens playing into it and saying, okay, well, they struggle to drone. They struggle to deal with us. So a mutant Mozzie will cause a lot of issues. Now we're going to have a player position in a very awkward spot they might not expect. As these hatches get open, Vulcanoid, she's going to be looking to the freezer. That's a typical spot. Comrade Barney, oh, he is waiting. A perfectly placed Jammer can really shut things down. Now, it has the potential for a kill. The pre-fire will come out. They know, but Comrade Barney's going to play it safe. The longer he is not spotted, the better. Trash Waifu, given that free information, will also benefit them as the drop does come through from Vulcanoid.
This Jaeger in a very key position right now. I think he's actually dropped away to keep himself in this fight a little bit longer. But again, in the perfect blind spot of that, it looks like High Nubis tries to get aggressive and, well, lucky the Flu had that air jab primed and ready. Otherwise, Mozzie could have been going to an early grave. I believe he may have even denied that air jab from going down in the first place. But sweaty palm moments right there. Those two players come just so close to getting that opening engagement. Minute 40 remains and no damage done to any parties just yet. But this is going to be a brawl. Trying to get control of cocktails. A nightmarish task for many teams. And, well, they've cleared away that castle barrier at least. So that's one step or one barrier of entry removed. But they're looking at this. It's going to be a nightmarish fight. The front line's forming, and this Jaeger is going to stand up tall, ready to take a fight as Yukio is going to take so much damage there. Not ideal. It's just going to be the time burning away. Freezer control is gathered by reversed. Will he be able to find that Jaeger? Concussions tossed out as Comrade Barney wisely drops down, and that cardiac sensor relays so much information. C4 primed and ready as well from Trash Waifu, but will it land as Deathly finds two? A great moment there. The SMG-11 sings its song of death, and the advantage sits strongly with Randy Ravens now in a 5 versus 3.
Yes, they're gonna have to go for the retake, and oh, Noob isn't cleared out at all. The Castle Barricade and the Jam are gonna give a horrible position, but the refrag's coming out from Flow. Yet again, though, you're playing catch-up. You're trying to make up for mistakes that have already happened, and right now it's a 2 versus 4. Information's still going through. Anchors are still on site. They know exactly where you are, exactly where you're coming from. And Deathly wants a third. The shotgun will come out, the aggression will follow, and the flashbang goes. Deathly pulls back and waits. The longer you stay alive, the better. And Mally holding this angle is just going to make it that little bit harder. Oh, Deathly, go on, son. He's able to find one. Can he find the second? No. Trash Waifu takes it away. But the Randy Ravens, they take away something more important. That's a full site rotation. And now they're going to be going back up to the top floor. And my question is, Froggers, what's happening?
They need to answer, and they need to answer back now. 3 consecutive losses on Cafe. Not ideal for anyone. But look at this. We already saw the damage done. The SMG-11 was able to find 2 kills here. Definitely. Absolutely sublime. Picture perfect from him to get that early double kill. Oh, great collapse as well from Noob to read the positioning absolutely perfectly. And then Deathly, as you said, just charging up these stairs, gets the kill with the shotgun, finds number 3, couldn't get the quad kill, so close but narrowly denied by Trash Wifey, but a very strong and dominant round from them on that tertiary side. They now have that potential to go back upstairs, they do so. Randy Ravens, absolutely perfect performance from them so far. I've said they are on an upward trajectory, and right now, they're showing how good they are.
Yes, the Randy Ravens, they're flying, they're soaring, and goddamn, they're going to the moon, and they're gonna pass SSG on the way there. Oh, I'm getting excited now, Whippet. I don't know whether it's the nondescript energy drink, or just the sheer quality of Siege that I'm watching, and I'm gonna bank on it being the latter that's getting me feeling some kind of way. We're seeing the same setup coming out, and Randy Ravens are fire up under their backsides, that they want to win it. They know that they have got at least a 3-3 split on the board. Now they just want to compound it, make it more, give themselves every single chance that they can get to secure all 3 points and put themselves ahead of the Froggers, who are going to have to try and attack this top floor. Very worried about spawn peaks. They're very worried about this aggression from the Ravens. They know that they're feeling warm. They know that they're comfortable and that they might need to deal with it. Side setup still going on at the moment for the Randy Ravens, but the Froggers, they're probably going to take their time. They're probably going to say, let's beat them with the strategy. Do not let them become monkeys, because that's how they're going to beat us down, is how they've done it before.
Oh, I mean, it's an interesting thing to say. I don't think necessarily it's been a monkey play, though. I think that Ravens have kind of displayed the perfect discipline to have aggressive moments when required and then sitting back and be more reserved when the time calls for it. But definitely so far a real highlight player in this matchup, and I wonder if he can continue that momentum. We saw that double kill, that SMG-11 ripping apart and giving the early advantage to his team. So can they continue this trend? Trash Waifu in a very exposed position inside of couches. They're not playing default inside of Pixel, but battling away with that window. And anyone who dares to drop this red hatch might find themselves at the receiving end of that AUG. And it's going to be Volcanoid first to fall. What an aggressive swing and what an opening kill. He's going to scamper back to white, and the damage has already been done. You can breach your wall, but you've already lost your Zofia.
Yes, now the SEAL Team, ex-SEAL Team Santa player of Trash Waifu, he's gonna back off, goes to Piano, the opening kill, it's right there, and suddenly you're looking at that player of Deathly, who has just been so incredible, holding this position. The flashbang will go off, trying to flush them back, but when you have that bathroom with a shotgun, as Circe has shown in multiple T4 leagues, you can just get the goddamn aggression going. Deathly, as soon as he knows that someone's pressuring Comrade Barney through that cart angle, he's going to get aggressive. He will be spotted on that push. The drone will be taken away. A flashbang will follow, but it won't land. He's able to find Murph. Has a diffuser taken down, and suddenly a 3 versus 5. Blue has an answer, but gets downed as well from those impact nades. Oh my lord, we're seeing Froggers just getting boxed in and taken down. Mali able to find a kill, but Yukio's there with a refrag. Is it enough though? That's the real question. Comrade Barney and Nine, they're just holding this main cocktail area, and then you've got Trash Waifu and Freezer. They're just making a impenetrable wall of aggression that, well, Froggers, they just don't seem to have an answer for. There are no drones being used at the moment, nothing going into that lumber area, nothing at the moment. The Maestro drone's getting more action than the normal ones as Comrade Barney finds a kill. One drone will be taken away, and Yukio pushes through to find Trash Waifu, but still, a 1 versus 2. Make that a 1 versus 1 as the Alder falls. It's not gonna sing its song, as you love to say. Comrade Barney has to come up huge. The push from Yukio comes, and is shut down, with the Ravens getting another round on the board, unanswered. Whippet.
4 rounds in a row. It is triage mode for the Froggers. They need to patch this bleed now as they let another round slip away. This is a absolutely stellar performance from the Randy Ravens. They have been so picture perfect in every single play they've made. Look at this opening from Trash Waifu. Absolutely picture perfect. Snaps to the head. A wonderful masterclass there. Yukio trying so hard to scrap tooth and nail for it. A quad kill if the clutch was there, but no. Comrade Barney reads the rotation perfectly. That T5 SMG, a nightmare to fight with, is now. Can Randy Ravens find 5 consecutive rounds as they go downstairs to Bakery once more? Froggers, you need to have something happen. You need to turn this tide in your favor, whether that's going more strategic or trying to bring your own level of aggression. They've got to do something, and I think changing up their core strategy right now is the best play, their best approach possible, because what they've presented so far just hasn't been working.
Yeah, they need to shape it up, and, well, it has to be in the next couple of rounds. They need that 4-2 split if they want any chance of really answering anything with the Ravens. Now, That with my magnet is going to be placed up in a very nice little spot. You know what I like to do with it? I like to get a Valkyrie camera in there because the lighting makes it so that it's impossible to see. It's literally free information. Now, these, all of my magnets, they're just going to be drawing away the utility. Assuming that there's going to be a push from Freezer, that's a little bit of support. But based on what we saw in the last round, I'm expecting to see very competent roaming, very coordinated roaming, and most importantly, measured aggression. For example, what we saw from Deathly, realizing there was a bit of tunnel vision. There was a gap in the Frogger's approach, and that wasn't it. Now, though, well, they're stacking up for this bakery side, aren't they, Whippet?
This is going to be a very direct attempted push. We hear that Maverick Torch trying to do some work, creating an angle to fight via that window. Trash Wifey takes some early damage, not ideal, but this could be that more aggressive, that more direct approach that Froggers need, as Deathly queues up and chooses those Maverick holes to fight his position. In the words of Emzo, these holes work both ways, and that Og is doing massive damage to Yu-Gi-Oh! When he pulls out the 44. Can he find the head? No! The Twitch slaps him down, but a very narrow margin of that fight, and damage has been done to Yu-Gi-Oh! But Vulcanoid, she gets aggressive deep inside her prep now, as Flu's gonna find Trash Waifu, and this very direct, very aggressive approach is seemingly working so far as Froggers use that smoke grenade, create that visual cover, as Vulcanoid gets even more aggressive, finds Ainoob on that reload, and a very tricky fight to ensue. Diffuser goes down, a 5 versus 2, and it's gonna be a 5 versus 1. Vulcanoid finds second in this, as that's gonna be Comrade Barney trying to battle away, scrapping tooth and nail, but can't find the kill on the reverse, as Froggers strike back, finally finding something to stop the bleeding, claiming round number 5. Better late than never, but still, you gotta consider Randy Ravens have already done so much damage on their defensive split. It's a bit of a recovery job ahead of the road for Froggers, but can they find 2 consecutive rounds and begin to bounce back and use that to build off once they move to their defensive side?
Okay, cool. Look at this right now. With the aggression coming out from Deathly, you're trying to find the shot, but look away at the worst time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Holding those angles, realizing that Randy Ravens, the way they play, somebody's going to get aggressive. And because of that, we saw that Maverick Hole being able to find that kill. Suddenly things open up. Vulcanoid, she got aggressive, like you said. She just said, okay, we're not winning by being passive. Well, let's get aggressive. Let's find some kills. Let's take them down. That's exactly what we saw coming out from them. They were able to find a number of kills moving forward. Ravens, something they weren't ready for. But big thing for me right now, as we look at this Whippet, is reading Fireplace yet again. And something even more important I need to talk about, 4 rounds already on the board. Froggers only have 1 so far. 1 round, that's the 5-1 split. Ravens, they need 1 good attacking round to get at least 2 points at all. And you look at that and simply say, Ravens, they might have more in them. But Froggers, that's the turnaround you need. You need to keep that momentum, keep the aggression, and keep reading into the Ravens like this. You're starting to kind of twig onto what they're doing, so play with that. Get used to what they're doing. Now, with this attack, what I really need to see is going to be a player on this white window. If you can keep Deathly quiet, keep them shut off, don't let them get aggressive on that position, that's huge. You need to take control of that piano, and a huge way to do it is put reverse exactly there and put them on the window and watch the cutoff. That's something where Froggers, they've just been letting Ravens go for refrags, go for pushes. They're not being cut off at all.
This could be a very pivotal strategy change, but it looks like an aggressive and direct push inside of Mining is on the board right now as Molly's trying to brawl away the UMP with the Cyber Hollow ready to take this fight. But as you mentioned, that white window could be so important to this. Vulcanoid opening up that ticket window, tries to get line of sight, spots that castle barrier. Flu's tapping away deep inside a train as well. So it does look like there's a different approach getting brought up by Froggers. This is what they need to do, try a fresh approach, a different position, but it looks like, well, for all they were trying early to get that different approach, they've kind of flipped back in that default strategy reverse, taking a lot of early damage from some wild tracers whizzing past from Bar and waiting for his team to form up and breach this castle barrier as Trash Waifu re-ups the position on that pulse. And look at the amount of information this cardiac sensor can bring. They're just a little bit out of range, but we saw in the previous round we went here how damaging it can be. Definitely C4 primed, ready to go, and if they can do as much damage as they've done previously, they are set to hold on to this site very strong. Minute 30 remains, all 10 players still alive in the lobby, but Who's going to strike first? Who can draw blood early in this matchup? And Ainub in a great position to perhaps do so as he's at the bottom of red stairs.
Yes, now looking at this, Ainub hasn't got aggressive on the push. Yukio's got to find the team kill. Ainub, you still got the kill. Run away. You don't have a C4 in pocket, but you have put the... I'm gonna say it. You put the bejesus into them, and Deathly's gonna get aggressive, finding a kill. Mirth has got an answer, but Deathly's looking for more. He's hungry. He knows somebody's in this museum. Reverse is able to find Mally and opens up that dining site, but suddenly Yukio needs to watch these flanks. A coordinated push between Ainub and Deathly is gonna find that kill, and suddenly... they're boxed in. Froggers, what are they going to do? Only 2 players remaining, one on top floor, one on the bottom, and Ainub is looking for the head of Reverse. Currently alone in that train engine area, will be able to get taken down by Trash Waifu, and the drop has to come through from Mirth. 1 versus 3, a win here to get that 4-2 split. It's going to be huge, but the bullet holes, they're not spotted from Ainub, who gets aggressive, he gets the kill, and gets Raven. A 5-1 split. Very nicely played from them. Their defense was almost impeccable. But now, you've got to look at the attack. This is where Froggers need to step things up. They need to channel some of that energy we saw in the last round. They need to be able to capitalize upon anything they get. Because they found a couple of opening kills. They found some map control. But there was nothing to follow up on. And that's where Ravens just started to collapse. They realized that Froggers don't have that stamina that you need to have. If you can stunt down that push, then they're just going to break down and start to fall apart. Look at that. That's just pain. A TK coming out from the Twitch, and then the players going prone, allowing Ainub to pull away and remain being a pain. Suddenly you're splitting the attention of the attackers. That flank watch, it needs to happen. You know that player is there, and you're trying to push through, but you just can't. That's beautiful coming through. Ainub and Deathly, I'm loving what I'm seeing there. But mainly Deathly and Trash Waifu, those are the 2 standout Ravens for me at the moment. And Deathly, I think it's clear why.
Oh, I have to agree. They've been putting in a fantastic performance so far. All honestly, it feels like all the highlight moments have come from them. They've just been putting in a shift for their side. And well, now they sit with that 5-1 advantage on round count. Can they capitalize upon that, moving on to the attacking side? It looks like this entirety of Piano is getting opened up massively. Lots of renovation happening, lots of angles to worry about. So Frogger is certainly bringing the pain and bringing the heat when it comes to this setup. And I like this a lot. There's so many angles to fight with, so many things to worry about. The moment you cross into that line of sight, it can be a nightmare, a headache-causing position. I think this might cause a lot of distraction for the side of Ravens, because they have to worry about so many positions, clear so many angles, and it's going to make this default push so difficult.
I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing the aggressive, very aggressive bathroom setup with the Goyo that we've seen a number of times in different leagues, but not that much inside of Buell. The hatches are being opened up, and Reverse is waiting right below, ready to strike, ready to pounce, ready to get whatever he can for nothing. 1 Nomad air jab will go down, and the utility will start to be cleared by the Ravens, but they're taking their time. They're realizing what they need to do. The drones are coming out, and they're going to spot Reverse, who's going to be stuck on this pillar's position, and suddenly you have 2 options. You stay here and risk getting pre-fired, or you drop. Whether Reverse is going to want to take this gunfight, who knows, as the hatches are going to start getting opened up, and that wall is going to follow. Deathly is going to start moving through, will spot the Goyo, but doesn't actually see the players there, and I don't think Yukio actually knows either. The drone leading through will call it out. They know it's a Goyo shield, and they know that they're going to have to clear it out, but I think they're ready to see if there's any ADSs, which I think is the right approach to take. But time, that's what's going to be taken away, and you see that player down below. You realize that there's somebody there waiting. I believe that is Volcanoid, just holding a position, has a C4 in pocket. It's gone, it's placed down. It hasn't detonated just yet. It will do some damage, quite a bit actually, to Deathly, but won't find the kill. Most importantly now, vertical holds Volcanoid. She spots the head of Deathly, but isn't going to be able to find a kill. Reverse onto Ainu will though, and we're a minute 15 and things are starting to kick off.
A great setup by Froggers and a great execution of the Russo, holding on, and so much utility, so much potential with these Goyo shields in these key positions. Comrade Barney creeping his way up, doesn't spot the player in pillars, and dies to Volcanoid. His reaction just wasn't there as Deathly now queues up to take the next fight. looks to make an entryway here, but the front line's forming in a 5 versus 3. They've still got to clear that Saria gate, and Trash Wife has got no grenades to do so. Might have to sacrifice a drone. A tricky angle fighting around that shield. Reverse finds her second in this round. Yukio gets aggressive and shut down, but look at the number of shields, causing an absolute headache as Trash Wife tries to get aggressive through bathroom, choked out by a toxic canister as well, and forced to make a commitment via that rotation as Froggers begin to collapse on the offensive side. Volcanoid finds yet another one as Trash Wife left, twisting and turning in the wind as Volcanoid is there to collect kill number 3 as Froggers show they can draw some blood on their defensive side. A great opening from them, and they can certainly use this to build some morale and get their momentum rolling.
That was a huge round from Froggers. You found the opening round on your defensive side, so now you're in a 5-2 split. You're able to start putting rounds on the board. This is the big opportunity that, well, we've simply been waiting for the entire time. You're looking at Froggers right now. They had that Goyo shield there. It slowed them down. It allowed Volcanoid to do that damage. So definitely a huge driving force for the side of Randy Ravens at the moment. That support player on the defense now going into the Ash main on attack. Unable to really find any impact in there. Honestly, Volcanoid, that round was all hers. She was able to just catch them off guard and deal with them. As time ticked down, then we saw the push coming through from the remaining Ravens players, but they were so condensed, so little utility clearance had been done, and so much damage had been done by that point. There wasn't time for coordination. It was reactions, it was dealing with threats as you saw them, and just instinct. That's why you saw Trash Waifu and Ainoob try and get something on the board. It wasn't meant to be, and Volcanoid able to clean up on the flank, being able to find those 2 kills. Heading to the bottom 4 now. We're seeing a very similar lineup, but Volcanoid is opting to bring this Vigil. So the roam game, combined with that of Rooney, I think we're going to see Froggers try and replicate what Ravens did the first time we're on this side. Take away the roam game early, and then capitalize upon the lack of players, and get aggressive and shut down any map control they think they might have with it.
Certainly have to agree with that one. Volcanoid will be a massive threat the entirety of this round. That scanner, that Wi-Fi router on the back of Vigil, just denying that solid confirmation of the operator's position, meaning that you have to, take your time, tread carefully on that initial entryway, and makes everything that extra step more complicated. I wonder, though, if they'll try for a more direct approach, just pushing in the bakery, similar to what we witnessed Froggers do when they were able to find that success. Ainoob sends his drone in, lots of information getting gathered, and it does seem that the front lines are forming up for that push inside of bakery. They don't want to commit to that roam clear, as it's a very dangerous task on a map like Cafe. As that's going to be Comrade Barney using his Twitch drone to potentially deny utility, but the drone hole is being watched, and a very tentative engagement around it, as definitely doesn't want to stumble in your line of sight. There is some debris ahead of it, so he won't lose his life if he is getting caught out by it. But Volcanoid inside a coat check, so that scanner, they don't have exact information, but that drone will detector as he shoots it out, but going up the red stairs, going to stay in this fight, relocating, and that's going to be in the back of the mind for everyone on the side of Randy Ravens. They know there's a Vigil on the board, but where has that Vigil gone?
Yes, now the big thing is that Randy Ravens, they want to go above, they want to get inside this mining, get that utility off the wall very, very quickly. That's why Comrade Barney's coming up to support as well on the red stairs. They want to deal with Volcanoid, but they want to get this wall open more importantly. Reverse is going to shut down Trash Waifu in that vertical play, and it's going to be looking for another kill. Not landing the shots just yet, but the pressure, that's all you need. Ainoob will take some damage. Now they know this Vigil is somewhere nearby. They know that the longer they are here, the more exposed they are. And while the aggression of the push that they needed to really catch the Froggers off guard, that's just simply not there. They're going to look at rotating around, maybe for a freezer push. They're going to get that frag grenade in, try and do some damage, and now they're fully committing to this vertical play. Definitely, it's the only player looking to shut down a roam, but Volcanoid is going to be taken away by that Twitch F2. A very nice weapon in the hands of a very nice player so far. He's going to be wanting to go down brown stairs. Ravens, they're getting the pieces in play. They're getting prepared. They're burning the ADS, but the smoke canister is going to come through. Definitely in a horrible spot. It's going to get ticked down from it and not be able to push. That's the big, big danger of waiting this long. Now, double doors. That might be where they're going to have to brute force their way through the barbed wire. The Aruni gate is going to make life so goddamn hard for the attackers, but they don't really have a choice. Reverse is going to get down, but Inoob's able to find the kill. We'll see the red stairs wall open up. Definitely that revive. It's not going to come through. Mali wants to, though. He's going to try and find a kill to Murph, and will get it. Has to push through. Has to get aggressive. It's 10 seconds left. The plant is going down. Yukio's cleaning house on the flank. Mali's all on his own, and he doesn't know where to look. The plant's not going to go down, and that's going to be a round in favor of the Froggers.
2 in a row for them, building on their early success upstairs, getting the bakery defense under their belt. A great turn of the tide so far as Froggers showing that they can bring complexity and strategy and be just as potent on their defense. They now go to the tertiary side of reading and dining, but a fantastic performance from them, showing that even though they were 5-1 down at the start of this split, they're going to fight for every single round and not give up quietly. So upstairs we go, or I imagine a lot of defenders will be going upstairs to hold on to this extension inside of Cocktail, as reading and fireplace will be the site of choice. Once again, Comrade Barney wielding that Twitch. An interesting choice, and I wonder if they, again, if it's a comfort pick for that F2, if they feel comfortable having that killing potential with that weapon, because those drones, I don't think they're going to have the most utility impact on a site such as this.
I feel like, okay, right, theory crafting time weapon. I think this is going to have a huge impact if we see the Ravens attack from mining and dining. If they go for that aggressive push that we saw from Froggers, the big things that Froggers kind of fell flat on their face on when it came to this push, Ravens need to be very, very ready to prepare for, and very prepared to meet and have plans in place. They need to deal with that flank coverage. They need to have somebody ready to take control of pillars and make sure no one can rotate around from the reading side to put the pressure on, because when the flank goes down, normally he has footholds at the dining side. The way I see this lineup of Ravens going is definitely going to be an attack from that side. You have definitely able to move in. Either that, or we're going to see Rooning Dawn. Now, the Aruni Gate is something we saw have a huge impact in the last game, and is probably going to have one, because that Rooney Gate, it's time denial, it's information being given. You have a good 3-4 seconds of that gate going off, and you realize as that utility goes through, that's where they're coming from. Ravens, though, they're going to be heading to the top floor. They have got they got the operators in play to get a good attack out of here, but that Twitch isn't going to have as much impact in my opinion, and yours as well. And they're going to need to deal with this cocktail position. Reverse, a lot of utility committed to this area, and is just going to try and click heads and take as many as he can before he has to fall back.
This is going to be a very tricky attack. Again, anytime you're forced to push this cocktail area, it is a nightmare, a massive headache. I'm sure in all of your experience playing as well, you just know how difficult this can be.
They don't know. They didn't drone it. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but we just saw Volcanoid getting advantage of a missed drone. I need walking in, sprinting in, not aware of the angles being made. Will be taken away, and Norma's taken off the board. Regardless of whether you find a kill or not, that's still a huge, huge operator to take away. Your sledge is now on 20 HP.
That's a massive investment for the later round, finding that early damage and a great adaptation to use those angles on this Trash Waifu, sending in those concussion and impacts, but those ADSs, you hear them buzz off in the distance, so that shield will persist, meaning the player in Cocktail of Reverse can just sit and hold his ground, stand and fight as long as they want, as everyone's going to be funneled into this position, into the waiting jaws of that carbine. It looks like the White Stairs push begins as Murph gets the opening kill. Trash Wifey falls. Comrade Barney next up to the plate. A tricky fight around this shield, a nightmarish one to find yourself in, as Inoob on that 20 HP tries to make something happen, tries to be the catalyst for his team, queuing up his 4 bodies inside of Bar, are ready for the fight. Comrade Barney down, the DBNO can be recovered, but time beginning to drain away. 45 seconds remaining, and yes, you've got control of Cocktail, but you haven't cleared away White, and Flu is there to get the scraps, gets one, but the trade-off is there, as Volcanoid ready perhaps to find yet another opportunity to pounce, but wisely, I think, taking the opportunity to go back down, shore up the objective itself. So much damage has been done in terms of HP as well as that timer, so all they must do is hold their crossfires, sit pretty in their positions. Comrade Barney tries to make his entryway down towards the White Stairs. Inoob now deep inside the pillars, but the Toxic Cancer's there. But no! The first of 3 is going to get burnt by that Surya Gate, but he's got 2 more in the back pocket with only 12 seconds left to go. It's surely going to be easy to hold out. Yukio and Volcanoid grab a kill apiece, and now it's a 3 versus 1, but look at that timer. 4 seconds, and the Toxic Cancer pressure in the face of Molly. It's all but over, and yes, it is. Froggers claim their third consecutive round here on Cafe. Is the sweep coming? Is the momentum turning? Is the tide shifting? This is all the play for now as we move into round number 10.
The Froggers jumping into action, showing why they're above Randy Ravens at this point with that 5th place spot. And remember, whoever wins this will push themselves into that top 4 position. So, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, Froggers, this is the moment to really even things out. Back to that bar. You win that round, it's even. You go down to the bottom floor, the momentum, well, it's clearly in your favor. So you're down on the bottom floor. You win that round. You go to match point. And suddenly, well, what are Ravens going to do? They have to try and force you to overtime, but they have not won a single attack. The mental is going to be in tatters. We're seeing a fuse being brought out from Mally, and while this isn't a bad operator, they know that it can't be that bottom floor. Why is the fuse being brought other than to deal with this cocktail utility? That's all I can see. And mainly, that's not the big issue for the Ravens when it comes to the attack. It was that first line of defense they struggled with. That kitchen, that bathroom, that freezer area with Pixel. That's where the big issues lay in their attack, not with Cocktail. You're focusing on the wrong thing and you're bringing strats to deal with it. Now, we're seeing the aggressive, very, very aggressive hold coming through. You're seeing these lines of sight. A lot of teams, they will decide to go for that foot level line of sight. Purely because it's such an impossible angle to hold, but when you have a player in bathroom or Pixel and a player in freezer holding that crossfire, it's just impossible to deal with. It's so hard, and Vulcanoid brings out that Frost match. Is going to have that position there, and if someone tries to get a bit too aggressive, well then there you go, because think about it with it. A drone's going into Pixel, they're going to see the Surya Gate. That drone's going to go through realistically. They might not spot that Frost mat, and that might be a huge mistake.
I wonder if this fuse pick is to go on that white window and chuck the cluster bombs into this area and clear away that utility. That might be the wisest use of that utility. But otherwise, I can't justify this pick in my brain at all. Especially considering that you're seeing Froggers put rounds on the board in consecutive manners, similar to what we saw Ravens do early. This could be a catastrophic slip-up for Ravens if they let their advantage, which was 5-1 at the turn of this half, slip between their fingertips. Has yet to make an initial entryway in a very slow and tentative push right now, as Ironweave's got control down below, has that presence in mining. But what can he do with it? I think he's anticipating someone to be down below, but we have the benefit of all these silhouettes, and no one's going to be near that Zafia. As Trash Waifu on that skylight tries to find something, but no one's there. But a great read there as Ainu finds Vulcanoid, who perhaps gets caught napping, but reverses there for an instantaneous trade. He jumped out to get it, but slapped down by the F2 of Comrade Barney. And now, for the very first time on this attacking side, Randy Ravens find themselves with the advantage in terms of player count in a 4 versus 3.
Yes, now Yukio's getting very aggressive, looking for the kill. Jumps down, spots it, barely gets it. Ainu taken away, and Yukio's gonna get caught on that refrag. 2 versus 3. The Ravens, they're gonna be able to find another, and Murph's gonna find Trash Waifu, but they know where he is. And Ravens, they only needed 1 round for match point, and they get it. But how long can they stave off the Froggers? They have just seemed incredible on their defense. Overtime, if we see it, it's gonna be who gets defense first. That's where we saw both teams really put up the work. But Ravens, match point, this is the opportunity. If they win this game without going to overtime, they put themselves at the top of the leaderboard. But the same goes for Froggers. But they can't now. If this game goes to overtime, which they need if they want to win, Whippet, they're only going to get 2 points. That's only going to draw them level. Whereas Ravens, they have an opportunity to just get right up there and topple the Imperium of Mandam.
That would be a mega result from them. What a way to wrap up this Playday. They've been so dominant, the Ravens, but we've seen Froggers fight back and claw their way into this matchup. It is truly all to play for as we move into this. Going to be another defense of Bar and Cocktail. Can they make it stick? Can they hold the line? They got very aggressive. We saw 2 separate runouts. Yes, the runouts got the kill, but they were instantaneously traded off. So I wonder, will we see a more pulled back and reserved playstyle from Froggers? As right now, they need to be able to be very, very clinical with their demonstration of this. They need to be surgical in their precision to close this one, or close the gap and get themselves back in this fight and push on to overtime. As well, they need it now to stay in this matchup. Remember, with our overtime rulings, they will not get the full points. If anyone wins in that overtime, they get the 2 points, similar to UL. Love that this format. It is absolutely a joy. Gives teams a reason to push into overtime. So, how will this one play out? This could be a very pivotal round, as we see Randy Ravens making their way towards the building on their match point round. And we see lots of frost mats scoured across the building, especially in towards Piano, as I knew likely to make another entryway, but placing that Claymore. Fool him once, shame on you. Fool him twice, shame on him. He's not going to take a chance. Plus that Claymore there, and Mayukio starts it off with a C4 from the hatch, and your Capitao is in the grave early in this round, and that is not the start that Ravens were wanting at all, but an instantaneous trade as definitely finds that kill, and we're back to a level playing ground, 4 versus 4.
Yes, now the big thing is Ravens. They won that last round on refrags, playing together and playing smart. If they don't do that, then Froggers, they have a real strong chance. It's all in, yet again, what I said before. It's all down to the defenders. They dictate how this round plays out. If aggression comes through, the Ravens will pick them apart bit by bit by bit, how they won their only attacking round. Deathly's going to move through that frost mat, is still there and can cause the issue, but Deathly's going to be an issue of his own. Finding Volcanoid, finding a player advantage, but still doesn't know about the frost mat. That's scary, but it doesn't matter. Deathly is as well able to find Murph, and now they're just going to start pushing through. Froggers yet to find a refrag since that early kill onto Mally, and suddenly a lot of players to take away. Trash Waifu will get down by reverse. The drone will follow, saying he might get aggressive, but you don't have the players to try and finish off that kill. The revive will come through, the pre-fire will follow, and you're going to see somebody try and get that kill, but they're not going to land it just yet. It doesn't matter though. The pressure's applied. Reverse, he's trying to get aggressive and move forward, and he will find one kill. He's looking for another one. Barney gets tagged, but doesn't land the chat. He doesn't land the shot. I'm reading chat, but I should be reading what Reverse is doing. Comrade Barney's taken down. He's holding the bar. Oh no, Reverse. He's going to be doing all the damage and keeping Froggers alive at the moment. They're on his back. Can he keep going? Say Ribbit. He finds a third. He needs a fourth. Oh my lord, Inoob. You can't let this slip. You can't let this go. One Jaeger, one man with a dream, and it's not gonna happen. The Ravens fly away with it, but my lord, did Reverse give it a good go?
Reverse standing tall, take a bow. You may not have been able to win that round, but a stellar individual performance right there at the death. But Ravens just about eking across the finish line there to get their victory. 7-4 from them. A great display, and they're going to be able to get some very well-deserved points, continuing that upward trajectory in this league. But what a matchup, what a display from both these sides. Wow, that was, it's almost, I need to get my breath back from that matchup. It was absolute insanity from round to round. A great start in that round from Yukio, but look at this, Reverse just took this game in the palm of his hand and tried his best to hold on to every inch of this bar. He just couldn't do it in that 1 versus 1 against Inoob. A single bullet would have done it, but ultimately, Azafia just quicker on the draw.
Yes, an absolutely huge performance from both teams, really coming into it now. Froggers and Randy Ravens, the attack needs a lot of work. I think it's very important we say that right off the gate, let's be honest with it, because when you look at that, you simply say, okay, they lost a lot of rounds. They lost a lot of advantages, especially the Ravens. Froggers, they went into it with that momentum shift. They got on the defense, they got rounds on the board, and they got opportunities. But as soon as they started to try and run away with it, quite literally, they got aggressive. They gave the Ravens the kills they needed to bring it back. And in doing so, that tight gameplay headed up by Deathly, who really has just been that standout MVP for me. Well, that's it. It all got shut down. He was able to find those kills. Then we saw refrag after refrag. They took map control, they took heads, and they took the win.
I think I have to echo that. Definitely, certainly on that matchup was my MVP. Every kind of big moment, you just watch it with his name popping up. He always managed to find that creativity, that moment of magic to give his team the advantage. So massive credit where it is due. A great performance from everyone on the Randy Raven side. I mean, what a great storyline it is for them this season. A massive upward trajectory from them, beginning to claw their way closer and closer to that top four. They're almost in striking distance now, so I wonder if they'll be able to capitalize on that and launch themselves into playoff positions next week. But that is our final game of the evening.
Yeah, we are done now, and after 2 incredible games, we are going to have to be saying goodbye. A huge shout out to the people behind the scenes, Peak and Santa. They've been doing the work of the admin and the replays that you've been seeing on the screen of the incredible, beautiful plays, giving me a great opportunity to just break things down, look at it, and really get in depth in a way you can't when you see it happening on the screen, and you're really excited and you're shouting out. So, huge shout out to them, Noah on the production, making sure everything looks beautiful, and Science for actually giving us something to cast. Most importantly, thank you, Whippet, for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always, and thank you guys for watching, but we are going to be taking our leave. Thank you for watching. Catch it next week. Playoffs, they're on their way.